Liberty Underground with Alex Snicker, Danielle Alexandra, and Greg Bowen on the 1787 Radio Network.
Well, good morning, Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, everybody out in San Francisco, California, in Washington, D.C., where all the criminals lie, in New York City, where all the banksters are there to steal your money.
I don't think any of those people are listening.
In Detroit, Michigan, well, they might be, NSA's listening, so they'll tell them.
That's true.
In Detroit, Michigan, where anarchy reigns supreme. Let's see, where else can we go today? Where else are we going to go
Come
today?
on, do Battle Creek.
Paris, France.
You know you wanna.
Battle Creek, Michigan.
There
Battle
you
Creek. This is Alex, co-host, Liberty Underground, along with me, the Duchess of Doing Stuff, Danielle Alexandra. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Feeling okay?
A lot more rested, yes.
A lot more rested. I know you weren't rested on Wednesday, though I had to not be at the show.
Yes, and I slept the whole time.
But you did get a mention on the show.
I did. I saw that. Thank you.
I made sure to play that when you were around. That way later on you couldn't say that you didn't know.
Because last time I was sick, you guys just forgot I existed.
Yes. All right. Along on the show as well, the Minister of the Sinister, Greg Evil Bowen. How are you doing, sir?
Spectacular.
Are you doing evil today? Are you feeling especially evil today?
Especially evil.
Or are you more mischievous today?
Very mischievous.
Okay, we'll go with that. Hey, you doing good, huh?
It sounds like he's just whatever you say. Okay, yeah, that's me.
He,
Yeah.
he turned into Ed McMahon for a couple seconds there.
I did.
You are correct, sir.
I'm doing a bunch of stuff over here. Whatever you say, that's fine.
Whatever. It's like talking to your mother when she's cooking something and trying to get permission to do something. That's when you ask, because you got a chance of getting it.
Wait a minute. What did I just get permission for?
Damn it.
All of a sudden dinner's ready. You're like, wait, where'd they go?
Exactly. Well, let's get right into it, guys. Oh, look, first off, let me make sure we give the studio lines out. The Refresh Telecom lines, 1-800-525-4032. The Refresh Telecom line, 1-800-525-4032. Refresh Telecom, they won't give your information to the feds without a warrant. Is that a good way of saying it, right? They won't give your information to the feds without a warrant?
Yeah, that's true.
Are we good with that?
They won't give your information to the feds, and that's it.
Well, not ever, though.
Well, I mean, I think if they had a warrant, even then they'd be skeptical.
Yeah, they might try to save you. Even
then it would be like, I don't know.
Maybe.
You haven't convinced me.
Well, let's get right into it, though. Let's get right into the top of the news order here.
Well, I mean, we've all been kind of saying how cold it is for the last week. And actually, in most of North Florida there in the Panhandle, they saw snow.
Hell was almost freezing over, folks. It was almost freezing over. I mean, it has been cold.
It has been really cold.
And I'm glad I don't live in North Florida because it started snowing up there. You know it's cold in Florida when it starts snowing in Florida. That's all I'm saying. They closed down Interstate 10 because it was so cold.
Yeah, it took forever to get back from Tallahassee. Now, we didn't go to Tallahassee this week.
Thank God.
And at first we were kind of like, oh, we don't get to go and, have the fun and, be there at this event. And then we heard on the way back that I-10 was closed due to snow.
Snow.
Well,
I guess theirs is more due to ice, not due to snow.
It is due to ice because there is no one that's prepared to actually travel on ice in Florida.
Yeah, it only takes a couple of snowflakes to hit the ground in Florida for everybody to freak out and not know what to do anymore.
Well, the schools up in the Panhandle were actually closed on Tuesday because it was going to snow on Wednesday. Like, that's how much Florida doesn't know how to deal with snow. They're like, it's going to snow in 2 days. Close all the schools.
It's like, they treat everything like it's a hurricane.
Right.
Shut it down. Shut it down now.
You need lead time to prepare. Like, what did they think? We had to, board up the windows? Snow flurries are coming.
Look, I will guarantee you that there is somebody in North Florida that boarded up their windows because snow was coming.
Boarded up the windows, put up some sandbags.
Did they do the tape? Did you guys ever do the tape
X
on
tape?
the big X tape on all the windows?
Yeah, I did one time, but I did it with tape that I couldn't remove very well.
Do you think they were doing that in the Panhandle because of all the snow?
There might have been one or two that did the X tape. Actually, those people probably already had the tape up still, so it was okay.
Because it was tape you couldn't remove.
Yeah, it was already there because it was tape you couldn't remove.
Yeah, so I mean, it was actually, and we're joking about it. Well, I mean, we're not really joking because that actually all did happen. It was it's not that much of a joke. But in other states that aren't used to a large amount of snow, like Alabama and Georgia, and that they had an even worse time than we did.
Yeah.
In places in Alabama and in Georgia, they literally had gridlock because nobody could really move on the ice. So there was people literally stuck in a traffic jam for 24 hours.
It really is just amazing. I don't even understand that, though. Well, hold on. From my understanding, people had to leave their cars.
Yeah. Well, eventually your car would run out of gas, so you'd have to and so then you had no more heat. Like your batteries were running low. You couldn't keep running the engine, so then your battery would run low. You couldn't keep the heat on in the car, so you would freeze out there.
Yeah.
So people would have to leave their cars and find shelter.
Man. Yeah, this climate change, global warming stuff, boy, it's going to come and get us, man. We really need to be concerned about this.
There was one day, and I forget which day it was, we were so cold, I'm like, please, global warming, please come soon.
Yeah, like we want some instant one. Like an instant global warming.
I need some global warming right now.
And then the president has the nerve in the State of the Union. The debate's over. Yeah, it sure is. You guys lost, man. What are you talking about?
As people were stuck in a 24-hour traffic jam due to snow.
In a place that never snows.
He is actually saying, literally, as they're stuck there going, we can't move because of all the snow. He's going, it's been decided.
The debate's over.
Yeah, the debate is over. Yeah, because people are stuck on a road. They can't even hear your speech because they're stuck in snow.
In Georgia.
In Georgia.
Georgia. Are you kidding me?
You're right, the debate is over, and we're on the wrong side.
Man, you suck. There's just a whole bunch of sucky on that part right there.
Tell those people on the road that global warming is happening.
Yeah, and they always I always love it when you hear the left, the people that are the pro global warming people. Well, not pro. I don't know if they're whatever. The people that talk about how global warming is supposedly real when it's not. How they what's that?
It is.
What, global warming is real?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. It is real. No, and I don't want to say that it's not real. Global warming is real, but it's not man-made. It
is man-made. Yeah,
No.
it's part of it.
No,
It's not nearly what the
it is.
alarmists want
It is
to
a cycle that has happened over in the earth since the beginning of the earth.
Well, and when it comes to emissions, by the way, like here's the thing: if that's the case, volcanoes emit more than we do. Mm-hmm. Here's what I think it is, and I'm not going to insult Greg when I say this, so I don't mean this towards you. I actually think it's the height of arrogance to think that we have something that we can do, that we're doing something about this. I think it's arrogant.
It's the height of ignorance to think we have nothing to do with it.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that made ice ages and made ice ages melt. So you can't say that, well, man wasn't here when ice ages melted. I mean, man was here, but not, driving a car. So you can't say that this has never happened before until man came in and messed things up, because that's what created an ice age. That's what melted an ice age.
So you do think that the carbon emissions have some kind of factor?
They absolutely do. Whether it's as big as some people portray it is not. Whether it's as big as some people portray it or not doesn't matter. It absolutely plays a role. I mean, you can't drive down the street and look at a big rig shooting out all that black smoke. You can't drive past a coal-fired power plant and see all that smoke coming out of there. Multiply that by everyone on the world, every truck, every power plant, and tell me that has zero effect.
But
if you tell me that has zero effect, you're the one that is experiencing cognitive dissonance.
I won't say that it has zero effect. It has comparatively, it has a very small effect.
Well, hold on.
Because one volcano eruption is more than that.
Absolutely.
Well, here's the other thing, though. What does it have an effect in? Look, when it comes to pollution and global warming are two different things entirely. So polluting the environment with with the emissions and stuff like that is a whole different story than making it so it's cool or so it's warmer on the planet. I think those are two separate things, right?
Yeah, But they are related. And here's the thing, the recent weather patterns we've had, yes, we've had a few cold days, but overall, our temperatures are much warmer. Right now, most of the country is 10 to 15 degrees warmer than normal and has been through most of the winter.
Wait.
Most of the winter, we have had higher than normal temperatures.
In the last century, in the South, and just in Florida, we'll take just Florida. In the last century, there was 20 snow events in the state of Florida, over 100 years. In the last 14 years, from 2000 till now, there's been 14. So there's definitely a cooling of Florida going on. And in the summers, they're not as hot as they were 100 years ago. So we're actually cooler today than we were 100 years ago. So that's and they say it's a cycle. Every 100 years, it starts to get warmer, and then it starts to cool off, and then that will happen for 100 years, and then it will go back. That it's a 100-year cycle.
I love that we're getting into global warming this morning.
Here's the thing. I'm not a global warming alarmist. I'm not someone who runs around going, the sky is falling. We got to, I firmly believe that we need to clean up our act, not because it's going to kill us, but because we need to clean up our act, because we're some dirty, stanky, nasty people who do not care about the place that we live.
You stanky.
No, I agree with that.
I actually agree with that 150%.
So I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not going to join the global warming alarmists and say we're killing the planet, we're killing ourselves. But I'm definitely going to say that all of the things that we do have an effect on our environment.
Yeah.
And I may not be joining up with them in the full-on alarmist mode, but I'm also not joining up on the other side saying it has nothing to do with it and mocking those people, because somewhere in the middle is where we're going to find the truth. And the fact of the matter is, everything we do, every action has a reaction, everything we do has an effect. And whether it's as bad as one person says or whether it's not as bad as the other person says, doesn't really matter. Clearly, we're doing something.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to kill the planet. We may make it inhospitable for humans and teach ourselves a very hard lesson, but we're not going to kill the planet.
And that's a hard lesson, by the way. But here's the thing, though. If you look at the trend line, because you're like, well, we're killing the planet. If you look at the trend lines, though, the trend lines all were going towards the down, not going towards the up when it comes to, number of emissions and the vehicles themselves, if they're getting cleaner. Like, things were getting fixed. They're just not going at a rate that the climate change people, and not yourself, I'm not putting you in that category, but the climate change people want it. They're like, well, we have to manufacture this, and we have to not manufacture, we have to make sure everybody does this. The trend lines were already going down. It's like worker safety. They're like, well, it's because of the unions for worker safety. No, it's because employers wanted to stop killing their employees because it costs more money to train one than it does to
kill one.
Like, once you train them, don't kill them. That's kind of like, their philosophy. And the reason why is not because they're humanitarians, it's because they don't want to pay to train somebody else.
It's amazing how sometimes profit will motivate you into not killing people.
Yeah, exactly.
Funny how that works out.
But these trend lines were already going down, and these guys manufacture crises in order to try to institute a law and then take credit for the downslope. Like, well, it was because of that law that it was going down. No, Dick. It was going down before. It had nothing to do with you. It goes into the State of the Union. I mean, talk about an arrogant guy that wants to take credit for what regular people do.
Oh, that was ridiculous. Now, and we watched bits and pieces of the State of the Union until generally you would get so angry you couldn't watch it anymore, and you would need a break.
Yeah.
And then you would come back.
Yeah, I have a difficult time watching that thing the whole way through. That guy pisses me off.
Now, I did read most of the transcript because...
And I wanted to smack Boehner in the head, by the way, man.
He still couldn't get through a speech without crying.
The son of a barkeep. Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, he was... and then I always like to... Because at some point, I tune out the president because I've just had enough. And I don't get angry where we have to change the channel, but I can just tune him out. And I just start looking around at other things. And I like those awkward moments where, one side is clapping, but then the other side says, I think I'm supposed to clap here. Like, I don't think I'm supposed to do this. Like, they said something about the troops, but it's still Obama. Should I clap? Should I not clap? And there's, that awkward, okay.
This guy was trying to single out every American citizen while he was on there. I'm surprised he didn't mention, Danielle Alexandre, who's doing a great job,
Yeah. He did a lot of shout-outs.
Yeah. Yeah. He did a lot of shout-outs.
They went.
That's racist.
They put in a lot of work finding the only individuals that their massive government programs helped.
Yeah.
There's the one.
That's what the MK Ultra program was all about, by the way. Everybody thought it was some secret government conspiracy. It's just they're the people that the government program helps, so they can use them in the State of the Union. That's MK Ultra, folks.
I mean, they're definitely, and I do love the when he kept pointing out other people, and then you have that other side going, wait a minute, still Obama, but I think I'm supposed to clap for that person. What do I do? I found much more entertainment in that, watching the very awkwardness, and Boehner was the best.
Yeah.
Because his awkwardness was the most awkward.
He is very awkward. I do not like Boehner. I met Boehner once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him in Orlando. It was at a Tea Party rally.
How was he in person?
He spent 10 minutes in front of the window to fix his hair.
I believe that. And he doesn't have a whole lot of hair. I don't take 10 minutes to fix my hair, and I got a lot of hair.
He's got that thing going on up top. It's not Trump all the way, but it's Trump-ish. Not that there's a comb over going on, but he's always fixing that part. He was just doing this for 10
Putting
minutes.
every single hair in the place to cover skin.
Yeah, I don't like him very much.
Politicians are very, very concerned about their hair.
Yeah, they really are. And I like, Joe Biden just looks so happy. He's like your drunk uncle in the corner, yay!
I was thinking of somebody else there, but okay, we'll go with that.
Trying to keep...
Yay!
Yeah, I know what you're thinking.
I'm the vice president. You guys. Sloth. Exactly. Joe Sloth Biden. There you go. Actually, sloths seem to make more sense, but
you almost gotta be so happy for him. Oh, look at you, you're so cute, so happy over there.
Rocky Road. Baby Ruth.
So,
I'm not a smart man, Jenny, but I know what tyranny is.
Oh, that's classic.
that's awesome.
classic.
That was the best. So we watched the State of the Union somewhat. I wasn't impressed with anything that I heard. There's so much hype up to this that it's well, what is he gonna say? What is he gonna say? Listen, this is what he's gonna say. Yay me, the Republicans are stopping everything that you don't like. We're doing everything you do like. Yay, yay, yay.
And if you are getting anything done, then the only way you got it done was through government, and we're going to take credit for it.
Right. And listen, and if Romney had been elected, it would have been I'm the best. The Democrats are in charge of everything you don't like. The Republicans are doing whatever you do like. Yay me, and we've done it all for you, so you should thank me.
Yeah.
It was no matter who got elected. I mean, the State of the Union is the same every single year.
I think there was a difference this year because there was a different theme with this State of the Union. And this year's theme was, I'll do it by myself if I have to. I will rule by executive order if I have to.
Yeah.
Which was a little different from the norm, but also still not unexpected.
Right. None of it was unexpected. I'd like to see Gary Johnson be elected and be listen, it's both of their faults. But if we dwell on that, we're not really moving forward. So here's some real solutions. Let's get it done.
Actually, Gary Johnson was on Stossel live after the State of the Union, and he was great. And they were doing a great job calling him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to. Now, the funny part about it is that in all reality, nobody's listening to the State of the Union anyway.
No.
Because the Nielsen's rating for Obama's State of the Union address is the lowest in 20 years. As a matter of fact, this is what it says. According to Nielsen, and this is from the Gateway Pundit, according to Nielsen, Obama's 2014 State of the Union registered only a 21.8 household share rating. And according to the chart in the story below that goes back to 1993, no president has had a lower rating.
And they are right.
And they are right.
Now, in 2010, that looked like there was a little bit of an uptick. Well, no. In 2009, it was at 30 million, which was kind of higher than it had been in a little while. But it's been a steady decline.
Well, just to give you an instance, in 1993, the Nielsen rating was 44.3. Then it went down into like 32, then 29, then 28, then 98 it went back up to 37, 99 went down to 31.
98, wouldn't that be the first year that was Bill Clinton?
No. 93 would have been the first year of Bill Clinton. No, not 93, 92.
90, okay.
Going in 93
right.
would have been...
Yeah, I get it.
Clearly, these people don't care anything about approval ratings anyway.
Yeah.
No, of course not. Yeah, because the president's got the lowest ever, too. But but people are tuning out, though.
But they just don't care. And I think you can see this just in how many people are, we say it, there's more apathy in the public. There's more anger in the public. And you see Congress at a 9% approval rating. The president is in the high 30s. I think people are just pissed off, and they just don't tune in anymore. I think they know they're being lied to, and they just don't even want to see it anymore.
Yep.
Like, I don't need to spend an hour and a half of my time watching you lie to me. I have better things to do with my life.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Yeah, I think you might be right. But it went down, it was, just to say, okay, the last one that Bush, not last one Bush, okay, so 08 would have been the last one Bush had, right?
That was 24.
That was 24. In 09, it went up to 32, so the first year, people were like, this Obama guy's, let's see what he's going to do.
It looks like the first year of every president, like, because if you look at it, it's like the first year of every president, it like goes up a little, and then people are like, oh, you're the same liar as all the rest of them. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, because the last Bush one was the lowest Bush one.
Right.
But no, it was weird though, because 01 would have been would 2000 have been Bush's? No,
No, 01.
So 01 was 20 with 27, 02 was 33, then it went back up to 38.
Right.
And then Obama, what he had was in 2009.
He was 2009.
No, but no, 09 wouldn't have been would have been 09 would have been his first one. That was 32.5. Now it's down to 20.7. No wonder why the guy's got low approval ratings, by the way.
Only 11 million people won't even watch him from before.
Yeah.
And his speeches for the State of the Union haven't varied a whole lot over the years either. A lot of the same topics, a lot of the same claims. So you seen one, you seen them all, really, with this guy.
I think it's with all of them. I kind of looked at it and I was like, I don't see the need to watch the State of the Union because I feel like they're always saying the same thing and none of it is relevant or factual.
Yep.
I mean, if you go to like the PolitiFact where they fact check the State of the Union, almost every single one, almost every State of the Union in the last, 15 years has been a fail.
Yeah. This is what I like to see, actually, by the way, when libertarians get up to Washington. I want libertarians to get the edge on both sides of, when the president walks in. And I want all of them just to stand there with their arms crossed like this and just stare at him when he's walking by. Mm-hmm. just to be intimidating. What are you going to say? The hell are you going to say?
And we all stand up and yell, "You lie!" every time he says anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no clapping, there's heckling.
Shut your pie hole, Barry!
No, we would not do that.
I totally would.
I think I might. If I'm already elected by that point, I think I might.
No. But I definitely think that there would be heckling, but I think I would hope that we'd be a little more professional in our heckling.
I wish these guys would be a little more professional and not assassinating American citizens.
Well, I mean, goes without saying. But I'm, like I said, I didn't put much stock into the State of the Union before it. I actually, if we hadn't heard about it ad nauseum on the radio the whole day, because we were on the road that day, and you couldn't turn on talk radio without hearing about the State of the Union. And everyone was like, well, he's going to be combative. No, he's going to be great. Because, we'd flip channels. And it was like, I guess we should watch a little bit of this.
See, I watch it. I started to make this statement the other day on Tuesday about it. I was like, it doesn't matter whether I love or hate the president. I watch it every year anyway. Then I thought about it for a minute. I was like, wait a minute. There hasn't been a president in my life that I love.
That
so,
you
I
loved.
guess regardless of how I feel about the president, I watch the State of the Union anyway.
So each year, as I hate the president.
Yeah. But I mean, for people like us, people who are politically active, this is our Super Bowl.
It ain't my Super Bowl.
What a sad Super Bowl.
Well,
it ain't my Super Bowl.
Well, it's kind of like the Lions versus the Cardinals or whatever.
It's like the
like two
water
teams nobody
boy
cares
going on
about.
the team, going on the field.
But I mean, this is our annual event. This is the one we get every year that we all talk about. So
Now the state.
Yeah,
of
no,
the,
you're right though. There's a couple that are like that,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is one of those
yeah.
though.
The state address will be coming up in about a month, so I'll be watching that. Now that one's during the day. That's like not one of those big, work stops and it's prime time. The state address is during the day.
I'd like to go there,
We could.
except for you wouldn't want me to go
I
there
wouldn't want you to go there, no, but I mean we could go
because
there.
I'm gonna mess stuff up.
I know.
I'm gonna say something while I'm sitting there. I'll be like, "You lie."
Yeah, you're not
I'm
going.
gonna pull a Joe Wilson. You lie, you lie, you lie, Skeletor.
Yeah, you're not going. Just veto
I would like to
that
have a
really
shirt. I would like to
quickly.
get a shirt that had Charlie or that the Rick or what's his name, Rick Scott. Yeah, I'd like to have a shirt with Rick Scott that says Skeletor on the bottom underneath it. I think that would
I'm
be
sure
cool.
someone has already made that shirt.
Oh,
got in a debate the other day about who looks more like Skeletor, Rick Scott, or Nancy Pelosi.
oh.
I think Nancy Pelosi looks like the witch from the Dark Crystal, and Rick Scott looks more like Skeletor.
It is hard though.
It's tough.
That's a debate. I'd kind of be like, whoever wins, I'm all right with that.
There are a few pictures of Rick Scott out there, though. You just paint his face yellow and put a purple hood on him. He looks just like Skeletor. That's why I call him that.
Yeah, dude is scary looking, man. Dude is scary looking. And Chris looks, starting to look a little leathery.
He is starting to look. He's not as tan as he used to be. If you notice.
Well, I think he has found that he has reached the nadir of spray tanning. He can no longer spray anymore on him. It's repelling everything.
Like his skin will not absorb any more spray tan. He has oranged out.
It's reflecting votes now, so he has to stop.
That's too funny. God, I hate that guy.
I hate them both actually. But
Yeah.
But no, and now there's been some other things that have been going on in Washington besides the State of the Union. Although you wouldn't know it if you watched any other news program, you would have no idea that anything else happened this week except the State of the Union. But things did.
We had a storm and we had the State of the Union.
And
That's
that
it.
was it. But no, actually, in D.C. we've had a couple of things now. And I don't like the Farm Bill, all of it. But I do like one of the provisions in it because it does actually lift the ban on growing hemp.
Yes.
Interesting, Dr. Jones.
Yeah. So, and several,
Do tell us more, Daniel.
a couple of states already around the country, like Kentucky, and I think Kansas is actually looking at it, but Kentucky already did it. They've actually basically nullified the law in their own state and said, we're growing hemp. And now the federal government in the new farm bill. Now, granted, this farm bill is huge. It's 1,500 pages. It is not just a lifting on the ban of hemp. It is a bad bill altogether. But one of the provisions in it that I like, in fact, the only provision in it that I like, is actually the lifting of the hemp ban. So that means most states still do consider it illegal. But this is definitely moving forward to where if you can, push your state to lift their own ban on hemp, you definitely will not have any intrusion from the federal government because they have now lifted the ban on hemp.
Yeah, but nullification doesn't work.
I think this was a fight they knew they weren't going to win.
Yeah, nullification works.
Oh, yeah, nullification definitely works. I mean, look at Kansas. Kansas did an intrastate commerce clause in their gun rights bill to where, any gun that's manufactured, sold, and used solely in the state of Kansas is exempt from federal regulation. Now, Eric Holder right away sent them a strongly worded letter, and the governor of Kansas basically said, go piss off. We're Kansas, and we're going to do whatever we want. And Eric Holder came back and was like, well, we'll watch you.
You're watching anyway.
Yeah.
You're watching, you're listening.
NSA,
everything.
baby. Yeah. So, when you stand up and when as states are standing up and just saying, no, we're, even Colorado and Washington State saying, we don't care what the federal government says. We're legalizing marijuana for recreational use. Screw you guys. And now they're finding ways to make it legal for the bank to take the money. It's like, well, okay, I guess.
If you don't mind.
What's done is done.
So, nullification does work. It works, it tends to always work. Utah with competing currencies and everything else. But this is definitely, I think they looked at one fight that they weren't going to win. States were going to start to nullify hemp laws. There is nothing psychotropic about hemp. You're not getting high off of it. I mean, you'd have to smoke an acre of it to get a small buzz. And by then, I think you'd just be tired. But it's just a great agricultural, industrial product. It makes paper and cotton and
Fuel,
building materials. Hemp is a great product, and at least federally, it is not banned. So now it's time for us to go to our states and say, okay, it's time for us to be able to grow hemp.
Yeah, it really is. So let's get this thing going. I mean, let's see what is going to happen when you see full implementation, where people are starting to grow it even more now.
Oh yeah.
What I'm looking forward to, is things like the hempcrete and the building materials with it. That's what I want to start seeing.
Right.
I want to start seeing that stuff.
Well, and hemp is not, the actual products made from hemp are not outlawed. We're just importing them all, and mostly from Canada.
Right.
So hemp seeds in your food are absolutely legal, again, because you're not getting high off of them. It's absolutely legal to have hempcrete. It's absolutely legal to have hemp string and hemp materials, and hemp itself. The products are not illegal. We just can't grow it, which is the most ridiculous law ever. You have to import all of this because we won't let you grow it because we said so. I mean, there's no real reason.
Hemp is the key to our economic turnaround.
Yeah.
It is such a pervasive raw material that can be used for so many different things. Once we are allowed to grow it in the United States, we will have our own raw material that we are producing that we can then put into manufacturing for a myriad of different products.
Yeah, and an alternative fuel source, and
Exactly.
much better than corn ever could be.
Oh yeah, and we're not dipping into our food supply to use it.
Right.
We're not going to increase the cost of corn as food by using corn as fuel.
Right.
And it grows much faster. There's much more yield. It's just all around better.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one.
You guys are just trying to get high. What about the kids?
Well, that too.
Yeah. If
And
you're smoking hemp to get high, you're doing it wrong.
You want kids to smoke hemp. That's what you want.
Yeah, I would. I would prefer that over cigarettes.
It would be safer than tobacco.
And actually, it's easier for kids to get a hold of marijuana than it is cigarettes or alcohol.
That is true.
So, if you want to keep the marijuana away from the kids, you should legalize it and regulate it like alcohol and cigarettes.
Right. Yeah, because kids are getting marijuana much easier than they're getting anything else.
Because the people selling cigarettes and alcohol are standing behind a cash register asking for ID. The people selling marijuana are talking to your children on the way to school, at school, during school, after school, at all the social functions, and everywhere else that the children are. And they are not asking for ID, and there is no quality control.
And grandma is now asking the kids to get marijuana for her to help her glaucoma.
Well, in some states, the kids are asking grandma to give up some of that medical grade
true.
marijuana.
Not in Florida.
But not in Florida.
Florida, grandchildren are grandma's dealers.
Yeah.
You've turned your children into a life of crime. So they can help grandma with glaucoma.
That's right.
And that's not the only thing that happened this week in the federal government. And we actually have heard a lot about this in Florida, is the flood insurance premium hikes. Now, the Senate overwhelmingly passed a provision that would delay the flood insurance premium hikes for 4 years. It does not look like the House is interested in passing the same thing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But it did pass in the Senate 67-32. Now, if anyone doesn't understand the legislation that's going on here, flood insurance has been subsidized. I could not think of the word. You're not helping me either here.
My bad.
Not paying attention at all.
Not paying attention to anything we're saying here.
Get off of Facebook.
I wasn't on Facebook.
It's been subsidized for quite a while now. And basically, other states are pretty much sick of subsidizing it for the southern states that are getting hit with floods because of hurricanes and things like that. So they want to end those subsidies. But now, instead of kind of phasing the subsidies out so that your insurance premiums go higher a little bit at a time, they just want to like end them tomorrow. So everyone's flood insurance will just triple in a year.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Because that makes things better.
Right. You know, we were keeping everything low for you for a very long time. You ended up buying a house that you couldn't afford in a place that was basically dangerous because we kept everything real low for you, and now we're cutting the cord.
Well, here's the thing too. I can't go everywhere, so I'm just gonna go with Pasco, where I live. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of subdivisions that are not beach subdivisions that are very negatively affected by what's going to happen.
Right.
But if they weren't subsidizing it to begin with, they wouldn't have built the subdivision there. They would have built the subdivision somewhere else, a little bit higher on the elevation chart. That's the problem is that the government got involved, lowered these, flood insurance rates. People overbuilt in areas that they shouldn't have built in. And now they got to take it back. What it's not Agenda 21. That's the thing. This is where I have to part ways, at least on this issue.
Just on this issue.
With those that are, everything's Agenda 21. Most things are actually Agenda 21. I'll freely go with this. Setting the flood insurance correctly, like actually putting it back the way it should be, is not one of them, though. Now, maybe doing it all quickly and having everybody lose their home might be part of it. The way in which they're going about it might be. But this has to happen. We got to quit getting subsidized here.
They were keeping insurance rates artificially low so that people who couldn't really afford to be in such a dangerous zone built a house there. And then when they said, okay, well, we can't afford the subsidy anymore, those people are going to lose their home. Instead of not keeping it artificially low, the only people who would build on that property are people that could afford the risk of being on that property. And, then we wouldn't have. But I still think that they should have phased it in. That this, automatic, like, boom, everybody's insurance is tripled. You caused the problem, but that means you have to fix it in a responsible manner.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Oh, and all of Pinellas County is screwed.
Well, mostly Pasco.
And a lot of Pasco is. Only, like, even where we live, it's not really applicable, though.
Well, no, because where we live is now considered a flood zone.
Oh, is it really?
And it used to not be.
Ah, crap.
Now, they have different stages of flood zones, so we're not in one of the most dangerous state, levels. But what they did was extend the flood zone area to where now instead of you being, so like I think it used to be 2 miles off the coast, now it's something like 10 miles off the coast.
Yeah, that's just, here's the thing. First off, you can't just make a blanket rule there. You have to go off of elevation and other factors come into play. So just saying everything 10 miles out ain't going to work.
If you're 3 miles off the coast but on a humongously, high elevation, because that's just happened to be where the hill is.
Yeah, it don't matter.
You ain't flooding.
It will change what the coast of Florida will look like, though. Eventually, it will change it, and it will lessen the amount of houses that are out there. And look, that's the way it's supposed to be. What?
We've still got a lot to learn in this country, and that's a lesson that we have yet to be taught the hard way. This is one of those lessons that humans always learn the hard way. One thing that America does not have that is all over the rest of the world is ruins. We do not have them because we have yet to learn our lesson that a lot of these cities that we've built, we need to abandon because they will continue to be destroyed by natural disaster, and we will keep rebuilding them. New Orleans and San Francisco are two of those cities that will eventually ultimately just be ruins because they will not last, they will not stay. New Orleans is below sea level. It will continue to flood as time goes on. We will rebuild that city until we get to the point where we're done spending money rebuilding a city that's under sea level. Yeah, same with San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah, same with San Francisco. We are going to rebuild that city until we get tired of rebuilding a city that is built on an active fault line that is going to continue to be destroyed. There are ruins all over the world, on active fault lines, on coastlines that flood. All over the world, you find these old cities that are no longer there because people learn the hard way that you cannot maintain a civilization in this spot for one reason or another, because of the natural forces, you can't live here. It's not going to last. So you leave. We have not done that yet. We still have to learn these lessons the hard way.
I think they're kind of doing it in Detroit.
Detroit is an example
That's not
of
even
the
a natural disaster.
economic ruins. We also have those in places in the world where the
Cleveland.
I just and it almost goes to
Flint.
like the arrogance of humans.
Yes.
That like, I don't care that you're a volcano. I will keep rebuilding my house because eventually you'll learn I'm more important, volcano.
You haven't had a discussion with a volcano like that before?
I haven't.
They just don't listen.
No, when I lived in Hawaii, man, I lived near a hurricane. I lived near a volcano.
Well, if you
And
live
I-
in Hawaii, you live near a volcano.
Oh, yeah. I lived near a volcano there. And we talked a lot. It was a good conversation. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
You know, but I mean, and
No,
you're
I
right.
don't know.
It is the arrogance of humans in general that decide like, I don't care that tornadoes hit this particular spot all year long. I'm gonna build my house there, and the tornado needs to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny.
And every year, when the winter snow melts in the spring thaw, the Mississippi River floods.
Right.
So if you build your house on the bank of the Mississippi during fall, don't be shocked when it floods in spring, because it's going to happen every year. Every single year. You can count on it. So don't build your house there.
Yeah.
Don't try to buy insurance. Just don't build your house there.
How funny is it with some of those houses now where those people started just making like 15-foot high like dunes just around their house. So you have everything flooded except for like this patch of land that's got somebody's house on it. Because they just put up enough dirt all the way around their house to where the flood can't get to them.
I will build a mountain to beat you, flood.
That's cool, by the way. That's uber cool. Look, if you live in a flood area, in order to live there, you ought to have to do that.
I'll beat you, river. I'll build a mountain.
Here's your flood insurance.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, save that money, buy you some dirt, go with it.
Buy some dirt, rent a bobcat, and get it done.
Yeah, just get it done. And some people have. I love those pictures, especially when they're flooded. Those guys are just hanging out like, what's up? What are you going to do, flood? You got nothing. Bring it. It's like Forrest Gump, Lieutenant Dan. What you got next,
Second Forrest Gump
It's the second Forrest Gump reference in a day.
That's okay. Forrest Gump's a good movie.
We're 2 Forrest Gump references in the first hour.
Yeah, that is a little weird, though.
Well, when you're talking about government, I think you can actually make a lot of lines to Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And now there's more that came out of Washington this week that nobody's heard of.
Oh, let's put under the category is they're both all the same, and let's just prove it.
Yeah. Yes. This could go under the category of this is how the Washington, D.C. works together. The GOP is actually going to soften their resistance to any debt ceiling increase. Now, I don't know if you guys have watched the last debt ceiling debates, but I didn't see much resistance before.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys, don't do that. Oh, okay. So I don't know how you soften that stance.
What, you just not show up to the meeting this time? You don't even pretend to have opposition?
So, and this is, and I guess maybe this is why we didn't hear about all these things coming out of DC is because Republicans actually hit out Maryland. And they basically put out all their policies together while they were in Cambridge, Maryland. They actually didn't show up to D.C. But they were in a nice resort in Cambridge, Maryland. And they decided to, put together their 2014 policies there. And one of them is the softening of the resistance to the debt ceiling.
So they're not dealing with the root cause of the problems that make us have to increase the debt ceiling. What they're
Like
dealing
spending.
with is the resistance to the increase of
Right.
the debt ceiling.
Right.
That's what they're actually
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not, hey, let's make it so we don't have to increase the debt ceiling because we're just, spending within our means. No, people don't like it when they hear all these scary things on TV, so let's just not fight anymore.
Oh my God.
Oh, I hate these guys.
Fuck those guys.
Oh, really? I mean, come on. It really is amazing when you watch what is going on in politics, and there is anybody that actually defends the Republicans. I mean, here's the thing. I can understand if you're a socialist and you think that the Democrats are... Well, no, I can't even understand that. Because if you are a socialist, you cannot like what the Democrats are doing either. Like, these guys are corporatist shills just like the Republicans are. But these guys are... Like, these guys got hired because they said they were going to stop this stuff. They got elected on this.
And you're going to love the quote, because we love this term. The debt's going up, and we have a greater obligation than to simply just pass it along. But there is a political reality that the administration and the president doesn't see it that way.
Okay.
They use the political reality argument.
Here's political reality. You people in the House hold the purse strings. That's the reality. You literally can stop it whenever you want because you hold the purse strings. Just quit funding it all. Here's the thing. Look, I know Obama, the traitor, tried to use, and the State of the Union address, how it was the government shutdown and all this other kind of stuff. And while on the media side, that's actually true, that shutdown didn't really affect 90% of the population. Maybe 10% were affected at most.
At best.
At worst, or whatever you want to call
whatever,
it.
however you want to call it.
But these guys, really, you know what? I'll tell you what's going to happen right now. Do you want to know what this did right here, where GOP softens resistance on debt ceiling increase? Do you know what this did?
What?
It costs it's going to cost the GOP something, and they don't realize it yet, but it's going to cost them something. 5% turnout. From election day.
Yeah, 5% will just
5% of the people that might have voted Republican are going to stay home now.
Yeah.
Because of this. And here's the thing. And this is the only thing that kind of sucks a little bit. What happened remember what happened with Romney, where all these people stayed home, enough people stayed home to where Obama won the election, not because he gained voters, because he lost less than what Romney lost. But then they still think that they have this mandate to do shit.
Right.
Like Obama thinks because 1/3 of the population not even voted for me, that somehow I have some kind of mandate to do something. When in all reality, 2/3 of the population thinks that you're an ass clown. Same thing goes with these guys in Congress. They go, well, I elected, I have a mandate. No. It's that the vast majority of people don't like you. Remember, 9% is not some kind of... 9%'s up from where you were.
Right.
You were below the 9
You're
before
on an
this.
uptick at 9.
Yeah. Like, can't you guys understand it? You suck.
And everybody thinks you suck.
Quit hanging out with yes people. You should listen to this show. Gus Bilirakis should listen to this show. He would be a much better congressperson if he would listen to this show, take you some notes, and just do what the hell I tell you to do.
And fire Liz, by the way.
Yeah, and fire half of your staff. Liz, y'all gotta stop being stuck on stupid. You gotta stop being stuck on donuts, bitch.
That is true, actually.
It's before the 10, right? Fuck you, bitch.
It is before 10.
Liz, here's the thing. What that woman doesn't understand, and this is what pisses me off, is that she works for us, not the other way around. She works for us. You don't walk into a place and tell people that they're stuck on anything. You say, how can I help you? What can I pass along to the congressman for you? That's what you should be doing, you ignorant woman, you.
Well, I would
and I don't mean...
bitch.
Ignorant
I was there at the meeting.
And here's the thing. And the other thing is this, and Liz, I hope somebody tells you this stuff, because if not, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. I better never be in a room when you say that. I better never, ever, ever, ever be in a room where you act that way. Because if you do, you're going to leave that room crying. You are going to leave that room crying, because I will yell and scream at you until you leave that room crying.
And for anyone who doesn't know, I was at a meeting one time, and Liz was there speaking for the congressman to a very good room of constituents. They were asking her some questions about things that they, had heard in the news, and she literally turned to them after about the third question and said, "You people need to stop being stuck on stupid."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's when I wasn't there. Thank God I wasn't there because I'd have gone off. Again, I'm standing up instantly. I'm starting to scream at you. And you'll leave because I won't stop screaming. And my voice box is a lot stronger than yours. God's given everybody gifts. Mine was this.
So, yeah, I mean, she's just a reprehensible person, and she doesn't understand who she works for. And I did say that. I was like, she realizes she works for us, right? And then, of course, people in the crowd were like, yeah, and they were not happy with Liz and her little stuck on stupid comment. But, I'm like, the only one stuck on stupid here is you. You think we work for you.
I honestly want to throw a chair at somebody when they say that stuff. I just want to take my chair that I'm sitting in and just throw it at them. You get the shoe guy that throws the shoes. I throw the chair.
Alex is going to do a run-in, smack her with the steel chair, DDT her.
Yeah, oh, it'd be nice to give her a big DDT.
She's a big woman.
That's all right. Oh,
That's why he's not going to do the choke slam.
Yeah, that's why you just DDT though. That's why you DDT.
She's a big woman.
Then you put her in a figure four. Then you figure four leg lock her.
She's big enough. It's a figure 8.
It's a figure 8. That dude just said figure 8.
That's funny.
Ain't that a good time?
But no, and back to this, softening of the debt ceiling. Softer. I don't know how you could go softer on it. You've increased the debt ceiling every time.
Yeah.
What are you going to say? Thank you as you raise the debt ceiling? I don't know how you get softer. Yay! It's softer. It's ridiculous. But I mean, this is Representative Stutzman out of Indiana said, no Republican I've talked to wants to default on the debt. Like, I don't know how these guys end up being wealthy because they don't understand the basics of how bills work and finances.
Well,
you don't default because you stop borrowing. You default when you stop paying.
Right.
Well, hold on. These people are rich because they get bags full of cash underneath the stall or shitter.
I'm just surprised that they don't lose it all quickly because they don't understand the basics of finances.
The thing is, we have to borrow to pay because we don't have the money to pay. We have to have one credit card to pay off our other credit card. Oh, wait, that's illegal for us as individuals, right. Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, but the government can do that, and it's okay, and we're supposed to support that.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you fight against that, then you're an extremist, and you should be shot.
Right.
Yeah, and if you say anything wrong, you're an extremist.
Yeah. Yeah, because what you made illegal for me to do is perfectly okay for you.
And it's dangerous.
Isn't that the definition of tyranny?
And it's dangerous if you don't do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and if you're advocating against this, then you want Grandma to die.
Right.
Did you know that? You want your Grandma to die, don't you, Greg?
Well... Both of them are already dead. Thank you.
See? Look at you're advocating for stuff. Look at what happens, Greg.
But I mean, and this is and this isn't the only thing they've softened on, by the way, because the new and I actually agree with most of what they're saying on this, but they're also softening on their strong immigration stance. Now they're like, well, maybe we do need a path to citizenship, which, like, don't get me wrong. I think that their stance on immigration has been wrong for, years, decades. But and this is, from Cambridge, Maryland again, because, it's not plush enough in D.C. They have to go to the resort in Maryland. And they put out a one-page memo on immigration. Which they're denying the Senate version of the immigration bill and basically saying that they want the same things. We're not going to pass your bill, but we're going to give you this memo of things that we want that say the same thing.
With all this softening that they're doing, can we just start calling the Republican Party the Flaccid Party?
The Flaccid Party, huh? I like that.
We could call them like Democrat juniors.
Ooh.
I just don't understand how. Hold on. Here's the thing. Like, all these people got elected like in a wave in 2010, and in that there were some pretty specific things that people were looking for, right? Mm-hmm. And one of those things that people were looking for was to stop spending,
right?
Stop borrowing, support the Constitution, all this other kind of stuff, right? These people get into office and like, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to rest until you do this, right? So what they do while they're in there, in order to repeal Obamacare, they do a bill in the House that they know will go nowhere whatsoever in the Senate, and they don't even care. And what they do is they give the president another line in the State of the Union address about doing something 40 times. You knew it wasn't going to work.
And you did it 40 times.
And here's the reason why you did it 40 times. You just only did this in order to try to appease your base.
Right.
However, your base actually wanted results. And you have the purse strings. You got the job because people knew that. And you won't use the one tool that you have, but the thing that won't work, you'll do over and over again, you freaking morons.
Because you didn't realize the 10th time, maybe the 12th, even 15th, like, hey, this isn't working, guys. Maybe we should try something else. No. You went to 40.
43.
43, right? 43. And at no point did anyone say, hey, guys, I don't think this is going to work. Let's try something new.
Yeah. What they did was they went back to their constituents. Well, we're voting to get rid of it, man. I don't know what to do.
We've done it 43 times.
We've done it 43 times. We're trying. Like, you jerks.
Well, it's like they're standing over the engine, banging on the oil cap with a wrench and going, I can't get it fixed.
I can't get this thing to start, man. I don't know.
I'm doing everything I know how to do, and it's just not working. Well,
you don't understand political. You don't understand political.
Political reality is if we put gas in the car, that might work.
Political reality is we've got a donkey as a mechanic.
Political reality is we got a donkey as a mechanic. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
And elephants don't have the gas can.
Yeah. I still don't understand. You know, look, we go to meetings and people are like, we need to get the Senate back because we got the House now. It's like, who's this we, man? I'd love to know who this we is.
Well, I love how
because I don't feel like part of the we.
Like, we control the House. Who?
Who's we? You have a lobbyist in your pocket?
I don't know what control you think you have because you're complaining about everything those dumbasses are doing anyways.
Yeah.
Would you come in here with J.P. Morgan?
Yeah. You got some stock and chase we don't know about, Mama?
But you know, I hate that. Well, we control the House. Really? Because you have just told me about every single thing they've done that you've hated. So what have you controlled?
Yeah.
Unless you just wanted to be disappointed.
There is no spoon. There is no control. Dumbasses. God, you people should know better than to fall for this shit.
Every time.
Boy, they fall for it like it's going out of style.
Every time. You know, we can't elect those libertarians. That's dangerous. Yeah, because things might actually start getting done.
Yeah. Look, I understand why there's a segment of the population that hates libertarians. If I was a moron and kept doing what other people were doing, I'd hate the people that were trying to tell you that was wrong too. Yeah. I understand. Look, and I even understand libertarians when they go insane. I understand. It makes perfect sense to me why libertarians go insane. Because if you watch shit being effed up for this long and you knew that there was nothing you could do about it, and the people that you tried to tell who supposedly agree with you when they say it that way call you a dumbass because you want to vote somebody different than the guy that's going to do it, I might lose my mind as well.
Halfway there already.
Yeah.
More than halfway.
I love it when people just sign up and they're like, I completely agree with you, but, maybe we just need to sell the message like a little softer and, not so angry. And then within about 6 weeks, they're like, damn it, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
You do this long enough, you can't help but have angry delivery. Like, this is very gentle and nice.
I love when after about 2 months of working with us, they're like, man, totally understand why you guys yell now.
Yeah. That one is actually one of the funnier ones. That is one of the funnier ones,
It's fun. It's a good time. Whenever someone comes to that realization and they're like, man, I'm yelling just like you guys. I totally get it now.
Yeah. I see why you're so angry on the air, Alex. I see why you're like
totally,
that.
I get it now.
Yeah. I always think that would be funny. All right, well, hour number 1's in the bag. Hour number 2 is coming up. The phone numbers, the Refresh Telecom line, 1-800-525-4032. Going into hour number 2, we do have a very special guest. We're not going to tell you who this person is, Adrian.
WileyForGovernor.com.
He's already posted it all over Facebook. So
WileyForGovernor.com. So we will take a break, and when we're back, we're going to be live on Tan Talk 1340, which means no more cursing, though. So just
watch yourself, Alex.
Watch yourself, Greg and Danielle. So because I know you guys are liking to curse a lot. So please try to refrain yourselves.
Yeah, it's
in
all
the next
me.
one. 1787network.com, folks. We'll be back.
this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Facts about the red cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with cameras. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
At Auto Body Unlimited, they work with their hands and heart to provide outstanding high-quality work and customer service. They specialize in European automobile collision repair work and refinish. At Auto Body Unlimited, they bring your car up to manufacturer standards, or they will buy your car back. They have dedicated equipment and use the same processes and paint that you would get from the factory. At Auto Body Unlimited, they don't work for the insurance company, they work for you. Auto Body Unlimited is located at 1300 Sunset Point Road in Clearwater. Call 727-443-4041 or on the web at autobodyunlimited.com. Visit Auto Body Unlimited for all of your repair needs. They work for you. If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
his hand, don't be mistaken. I believe in peace, but I won't be taken. I will not submit to authoritative man. I'm ready to die, but not for love. See the signs appear, it's gonna happen here.
This is Liberty Underground with Alex Snicker, Danielle Alexandre, and Greg Bowen on the 1787 Radio Network.
Well, good morning, Clearwater, Safety Harbor, Dunedin, St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay. This is Alex Snicker, co-host, Liberty Underground. Along with me, the Duchess of Doing Stuff, Danielle Alexandre. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
And the Minister of the Sinister, Greg Bowen. How are you this morning, sir?
Spectacular.
Spectacular, huh? I'm glad to hear that.
It's funny in the second hour how now he's spectacular.
Yeah.
I was spectacular in the first hour.
You were spectacular in the first hour. Both of you were.
Actually, the first hour was a really good hour.
You guys did
You
good.
guys totally missed out. Anyone who just tuned in now.
Yeah, I feel bad for you.
I do
You
feel
should
bad.
be watching on YouTube for the.
Because it was actually a good hour.
Yes, it was actually a good hour. I will agree with you 100% on there.
We referenced Forrest Gump twice. That's always a good hour.
Yeah, you know it's always a good hour when you get the Forrest Gump reference twice. That's true. Very, very true. Hopefully everybody is having a good week. We have a lot of exciting things that we need to get to. But before that, Greg needs to answer the phone. So we'll have
getting
Greg
the
answer the phone real quick.
And just
They
to...
hung up.
Jerk.
Did they really?
Well, there was nobody on the other end.
Oh, okay. All right, well, go with it then.
No, and just to kind of... There was a big event in Tallahassee this week. There's actually several things going on as you're gearing up for session. You have a lot of kind of events and a lot of things going on in Tallahassee. But one of them is, always the AP event as all the media outlets around the state kind of get together and do almost like a planning session on how the session is going to go, what they should be looking for, some key things that are going to be going on, so that the media can kind of plan out how they're going to report on things and what they need to be paying attention to.
And who they need to be ignoring.
And who they should be ignoring.
That's always fun when they do that, by the way.
Now, this is done every year, but in a big election year, they also, have, because candidates are going to be in the news too, that is also a part of it. Although it's not a part of it every year, it's only on kind of big election years. So every 2 years, you'll see also candidates being there because that is part of the planning in the media, because they'll report on those things too, or choose to ignore it, depending on your perspective.
Depending on how they're feeling, I guess, But Adrian did go up to the AP.
He did. He did go up to there, and as soon as he comes on, he can tell us all about it. I think he's on now. Adrian, are you there?
I am here. How's it going this morning?
Well, we're doing well. Greg is spectacular.
Yeah, he had me in hysterics with his bit the Forrest Gump routine earlier this morning.
I know, it is funny. Like I said, anyone who just tuned in now totally missed like the best line of the day. Although you had a very good line at the AP event that is now being reported, and I'm getting phone calls that it was the best line of the week.
Yeah. Well, it was a very interesting day on Wednesday. We found out on Monday that the AP was hosting this event, and we were not invited to the event, although all the Republican and Democrat candidates for governor and attorney general were. Bill and I, Bill Walsifer, Libertarian attorney general candidate, and myself were not invited. So Bill reached out to them to find out, what the deal was, and they specifically told us we were not welcome. And as you guys know, that doesn't sit real well with me. When the Associated Press is hosting a media event at the Capitol building, public property, I decided that it would be best if we just showed up. And I can tell you, the organizers, Governor Scott's staff, they were all quite nervous when I and a couple of our team members walked into the room, and I think they actually delayed Governor Scott's speech for about 15 minutes because they were concerned about what we were going to do, whether we were going to stand up and disrupt the event. But A representative from the Associated Press came over and said they'd modified the schedule, and I would be given time to speak. So it turned out well in the long run, but there was some very, very nervous looks around the room with the assembled media and the governor's staff.
Well, one thing I actually wanted to clarify, because Adrian did say something that was not correct. And that is, not all of the Democrat candidates and all of the Republican candidates for governor were actually in attendance, because there's 8 Democrats that are actually running for governor right now.
Right.
And they had 2. Right? Was Nan Rich even there?
Yeah, Nan Rich.
Nan Rich was there.
Dan Rich was there. Yeah.
So there's a lot of other people running Democrat that weren't there, and
There's
the
a
same
couple
goes to
Republicans,
Republicans
too.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 people running Republican, and none of those people were there. So
You make a good clarification there, Alex. I don't know for sure whether other Democrat and Republican candidates were invited. I just know that no libertarians were invited. And in our case, we were specifically told we were not welcome.
Yep. No, absolutely. Well, and it just goes to show you that this is not even a Democrat or Republican thing. It's an establishment thing. So the media has the establishment who they've already picked as the candidates there and only want those candidates there. And so even if you run Dem or run Republican, if you're not one of the anointed ones that they want to invite, then they're just not even going to invite you.
Well, and in all honesty, they don't even give Nan Rich. I mean, she was invited to this event, which, because she was the Senate minority leader. But, she was invited to this event, but there's many times where she's blacked out and ignored as well.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. Nan Rich, who was the former Senate minority leader in the state legislature, she has been ignored by the media in the same manner that we have. I would argue that we've probably received as much attention from the media as Nan Rich has.
Yeah, I definitely would think so. Now, this is the line, and I want to read it for people. This is the line that I've been getting calls over to say, wow, that was a great line. That's like a winner of the week line. And this is what Adrian said at the event. I don't know what is more entertaining to me, Rick Scott talking about his fiscal conservatism or Charlie Crist talking about ethics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and I did find both just completely comical. Rick Scott came out there and he was actually introducing his budget for the upcoming year that he will be pushing in the state legislature. But really, it's another budget increase. He's handing out your tax dollars like candy to try to secure this election. And for anyone who thinks that Rick Scott is a small government guy, he's increased the state budget by over $8 billion since he's been in office. And then Charlie Crist came out and spoke primarily on the issues of ethics in government and how he's going to restore ethics and how Rick Scott was, only escaped going to jail for defrauding Medicare by pleading the fifth 75 times, which is all absolutely true. Governor Rick Scott is a corrupt individual. But for Charlie Crist to be the one pointing it out, the only reason that Charlie Crist is not in jail today for ethics violations is because former Republican Party Florida chairman Jim Greer fell on his sword and took the rap for everyone else involved, like Charlie Crist, like Marco Rubio. So, the hypocrisy coming from both camps is it's truly unbelievable that they think they can get away with it. And I think the reason that they can get away with it is because we have a fawning media in this state who is just completely in bed with the establishment politicians.
I think the libertarian candidates are in an interesting position, though, because all of our libertarian candidates can say everything they say about each other is true, everything they say about themselves is false.
Yeah, and we can, very, and I love, and like I said, I got a few calls yesterday that had read Sunshine State News, and because they had printed Adrian and what he had said, and every call that I got was like, that was the best line ever, and it was funny. So it's good to have you on and be able to tell everyone else the winner of the week line as far as the opinion poll of who calls my phone is, was your line. And I think the opinion of who calls my phone is just as scientific as any other poll, biased poll from any polling company.
Might even be more.
It might even be better.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing is I spoke immediately after Charlie Crist did. But what happened is, as soon as I took the podium, 2/3 of the assembled media walked out of the room. And it was the only reason that I believe that they let me speak there was from the pressure that they got from our supporters and out of fear that we would do something to disrupt the event. But the arrogance of the media assembled in that room, even though I spoke to many reporters one-on-one, I was interviewed, on camera. The cameras, there must have been, 10 different cameras filming the event. No one put out anything of what I said, anything of what Bill Walsifer said, with the exception of the Sunshine State News. And I applaud Sunshine State News for actually being the only, I'll say, the only journalists in the room.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're up against. It's not just a media bias. It's not just a media blackout. It's a level of arrogance that is, the opinion of the Florida media is, we will decide for the people of Florida. And I urge everyone listening not to allow that to happen. Keep pressuring the media to include all candidates, and obviously, specifically, ask for them to include me in their coverage, in their polls, in their debates, because until we let the broader population know that they do have another choice, and that choice is one that represents values and principles that is more aligned with them, far more aligned with the people of Florida than anything the Republicans and Democrats are doing. If we do that, then we will have a legitimate shot to win this election.
Yeah, definitely. And kudos to Sunshine State News, who did cover you, and as well Bill Walsifer. They did mention Bill Walsifer as they were talking about the Attorney General candidate. So, I definitely have they've gained a little more respect in my book, although I'm always skeptical of media outlets. I do applaud them for covering both of you.
Yeah, Sunshine State has always been pretty good, actually.
Yeah, they're a good organization, one of the better ones in the state for sure. But I want to publicly put out this warning, the shot across the bow to the media. And that is, if they don't start covering libertarians, if not on an equal basis, at least to some degree at all, we're going to step up our tactics. And we're going to find ways where they will be forced to cover us. I don't want to give any more details right now, but I do want to put them on notice. This is a warning to them that our tactics will change unless they start reporting the truth.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
Sounds
I like
good.
it.
I like
Sounds
it.
a little threatening. Are you trying to threaten me? Am I being
Yeah,
detained?
just a bit.
No.
Are you threatening me?
Yes, media, I am threatening you.
Now, one of the things, and I want to get into this because of course Brandon's going to come on in a little bit. But one inclusions that we do have coming up is Lucas in the debate on Monday night. So now I know me and Alex are going to be there. Greg, you're going to be there, and I'm not sure if Adrian's going to be there or not. But that's very exciting, Adrian. You got any little words of wisdom for Lucas on that?
Lucas is a great guy, great candidate, good friend, and there is no doubt in my mind that when he stands up there with the other two candidates, it will be clear that he is by far the best choice for Congress out of the three people on that stage. So I'm very encouraged by the fact that Lucas is included in a nationally televised debate. And I really believe this is just the beginning of bigger and better things to come and more honest, principled choices for the voters of Florida.
Well, I think definitely the people are starting to turn that direction. We're seeing more and more people identify themselves not with the other two parties. So I think that you're going to see a media that's going to be forced to recognize that third parties exist and that the people do want to hear from them. And I think Lucas is one of those, examples where, the pressure on the media outlets was so great that they ended up, in the end, including him. And I think you're going to see him do great things on the stage against the other two.
Absolutely. And, there is a grassroots groundswell out there. You guys know it. You guys are out there putting in the hard work. All of us are out there talking to the voters while these establishment politicians are shouting from their ivory towers. We know the sentiment of the voters out there, and we know that it's just a matter of time before, if the media doesn't start to cover us, they're going to continue their path towards irrelevancy and bankruptcy, quite frankly. So I think that they will have no choice, if nothing else, for economic preservation, but to start covering us.
I definitely think you're right. I mean, we're seeing, such a decline in newspaper subscriptions, even on online readerships. You're seeing it decline. Alternative media is starting to, rapidly increase and be much more popular. And I think it's because people are starting to realize that this alternative media is starting to be more accurate and more honest. And people are starting to say, you know what? These guys keep lying to me. I'm going to go to the people telling the truth. And I think you'll see the mainstream media start to almost have to report more honestly because of it.
And we're also seeing that, the people of this country, the people of Florida, they're shifting more and more towards libertarian every day. The polls bear that out. The concept of just get government out of my way, let me live my life, get your hands out of my wallet, get out of my bedroom, get out of my business, get out of my body. That's what people are saying. And the Democrats and Republicans, they only do that for one or two issues. Both of libertarians across the board say that economic freedom, individual liberty for all people is the way to go. And that resonates. It's just a matter of getting that message to the people. And once we do that, we win.
Yeah, I agree. Look, the numbers are all going down. We talked about it in the first hour with the President's State of the Union address. We're looking at the lowest numbers ever. If you're looking at people just checking out of all of these media outlets entirely. Now, some of them aren't going anywhere. Some of them are not going to any media outlets, and they're just not doing anything. But a lot of these people are looking for other sources. Again, we got to ask questions about the NSA, about the NDAA, and we weren't the ones that brought it up. It was the voter that brought it up.
Right.
That shows you the shift that's going on right now.
No, and I think, you're definitely... Oh, go ahead, Adrian.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's another one of those issues that Republicans and Democrats are not really dealing with. The only reason that they're addressing it is because they're forced to, but they're throwing out, tiny little half measures. Oh, yeah, we'll protect your privacy. And people realize that Republicans and Democrats aren't going to protect their privacy, that they're going to continue the surveillance state, the police state, this Orwellian trend to where we're being monitored through every aspect of our daily lives. Only libertarians are going to stand up and actually reverse that trend.
Yeah, and I think, and I urge everyone in Pinellas County in District 13, Monday night is going to be the debate. Watch Lucas and see the difference. I mean, you're going to have a slick lobbyist on there with, very slick talk, very, smooth talker. But in the end, he's bought and paid for. He's lobbied for all of the legislation that he's claiming Alex Sink is bad for supporting. He lobbied for the bailouts. He lobbied for all of these horrible things he's bought and paid for. Alex Sink was a disaster as the CFO. She believes in all of the, spending your money and taking your liberties. The only difference on that stage is gonna be Lucas. And I urge everyone to actually open your minds, watch the debate with an open mind and actually really see the difference. And I think this is going to be one of the first times that you really, on a national level, because this is a nationally televised debate, you're going to see the huge difference in policy and just in the rhetoric, that seeing a libertarian saying, this is my plan, this is what I want to do, and those two just, say a bunch of words and actually say nothing at all.
And Lucas is taller.
Lucas is taller by a lot, actually.
And even better, Lucas is making himself available to the constituents of District 13. Watch the debates and get a feel for what he has to say. But if you have any questions, he will be at a town hall in your neighborhood at some point, and you can go and talk to him yourself. The other candidates are refusing to speak to the constituents of District 13 as a matter of policy.
They're only basically agreeing to speak to closed-door events with a hand-picked group of people who generally support them anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are not going to open themselves up to any kind of conflict, any differing opinions. You have no chance of talking to them if you are not already on the list.
Yeah, go to Lucas's website, lucasoverby.com. That's overby.com. And, find a town hall in your area. Ask him the tough questions. Ask him the questions that you want to know that you feel is important to you for your congressman. And get his answer, because he wants to be there. He wants to open himself up to the constituents and hear what you have to say and be honest with you on what his positions are. And that's a lot more than either of the other two want to do.
And I also encourage people to reach out to David Jolly and Alex Sink and ask them why they're not going to those town halls.
Right.
See what kind of
Absolutely.
answer you get.
Yeah, absolutely. And why they keep canceling. Every candidate forum that isn't a closed-door, hand-picked audience, they have canceled.
Their campaigns are insults to the general public.
It really is.
Yes. Absolutely.
They just are. They're insults. It was like when we dealt with up here when we dealt with Gunther.
Yeah.
Dude put up a website
That didn't have anything
that
on
had
it.
no information on it whatsoever. Literally, you could just sign up.
It says sign up for my newsletter. That was the entire website.
Yeah.
And 3 days before the elections, he put up some issues, but it was like a one-page bullet point list.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome, citizens of Pasco County.
I guess if you have to know how I feel about some things.
Yeah. I wonder why he lost. Why would nobody want to vote for you? Well, I don't know. That's the thing. I think if the average voter actually knew what was going on with Jolly and Sink and knew the stuff that they do, I don't think very many people would vote for those people.
No.
If you knew that we're skipping stuff because we don't want to give a message out, and then they're going to argue back and forth in the media about debates.
Yeah,
when they're not doing any.
They keep, Jolly has this "Where's Alex" little hashtag on his page, and Alex Sink keeps, thanks to Jolly, we don't have to answer this to the constituents. You've both canceled. You both keep canceling. Yeah. You only say yes to talk to a hand-picked audience of your own supporters. Lucas, on the other hand, has said yes to everything, and when they all got canceled, started setting up his own town halls because he was upset that he didn't get to speak to constituents.
Yeah. I give him credit for that one. I like the way those things are going, by the way.
Yeah, I like it.
I like those things. Anything additional you want to add, Adrian? How's everything else going with your campaign, buddy?
Oh, the campaign's going phenomenal, and I'd just like to add one more thing. To the listeners, you voted Democrat, you voted Republican. Every time you thought things were going to be different, every time you end up with less freedom, less prosperity. And, it's time that you vote outside the box. It's time that you stop doing the same thing over and over, voting out of fear that if I don't vote this way, then the other guy's going to get in. The bottom line is there's no difference between the two primary parties. And until you realize that and start voting for someone who truly represents your principles, nothing is ever going to change. And so this is the time to do it. It's the time to do it in March in Pinellas County. Vote Lucas Overby. In November, vote for me for governor. Vote for Bill Walsifer for attorney general. And vote for any libertarians you have on the ballot, because that is the only way that we're going to restore our prosperity and our freedom.
And the people in Pinellas County, you're going to have a whole lot of libertarians on the ballot.
Yes, you will.
A lot of different areas.
It's not just going to be Adrian and
Taylor,
Bill.
Tony Cazzo. You got a lot, maybe Jack Harris. You're going to have a lot of people on the ballot.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of options in Pinellas County. I'm actually a little jealous.
Yeah, Pinellas County, good time. Like what's going on down there. Really like what you're doing in Pinellas. But that's Adrian Wiley, folks. We got to take a break. Adrian, give out your website one more time.
It's WileyForGovernor.com, WYLLIEFOR Governor.com. Thanks as always, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Adrian. Well, we got to take a break. When we get back, our favorite guy, Brandon Jones from The Global Dispatch, will be on to tell you all about all the good stuff going on around the world. You're listening to Liberty Underground.
Ed. This is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with camera. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
At Auto Body Unlimited, they work with their hands and heart to provide outstanding high-quality work and customer service. They specialize in European automobile collision repair work and refinish. At Auto Body Unlimited, they bring your car up to manufacturer standards, or they will buy your car back. They have dedicated equipment and use the same processes and paint that you would get from the factory. At Auto Body Unlimited, they don't work for the insurance company, they work for you. Auto Body Unlimited is located at 1300 Sunset Point Road in Clearwater. Call 727-443-4041 or on the web at autobodyunlimited.com. Visit Auto Body Unlimited for all of your repair needs. They work for you. If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street, just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
Welcome back to Liberty Underground. If you want to call the studio, the Refresh Telecom lines is 1-800-525-4032. But on with us right now is our most favorite guest. As soon as Greg is finished doing what he needs to be doing. There you go. Are you ready to go? Are we ready, Greg?
We're ready.
All right. Brandon Jones, how are you doing, sir? Good morning.
Oh, I'm very blessed this morning. How is everyone?
We're doing pretty good. I guess we'll go right into, big news is always where we go, Brandon. I always like to get his take on some of this stuff. What was your take on the State of the Union?
I am shocked that America doesn't seem to understand enough of our Constitution and politics to understand that you just had the executive branch tell the legislative branch that I don't care what you do, I'll do what I want to do. And they stood up and applauded.
Yeah.
It was kind of mind-blowing that we've really, it's not that we don't know that we're that far, but I guess when it manifests itself like this in this way, it's just kind of shocking.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. I really think that it was amazing that you had a thunderous applause when he says that I'm just going to violate the Constitution, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, great, this guy's doing a good job." So that part does kind of suck a little bit. What else did you take from that speech?
it was really fascinating to see him almost, I mean, obviously by design, just completely ignore the concept of Obamacare and the situation with healthcare. It was really just sort of kind of an afterthought, a footnote, or anything. It was just mind blowing. So if Libertarians and Republicans haven't caught on to that, or where you need to target your federal candidates, that would be where I would go.
No,
just saying.
No, absolutely. What else? Because I know that there's a lot going on, and that what happens a lot of times for like State of the Union is that what ends up happening is a lot of other things get missed because such focus is put on the State of the Union. What else is going on out there?
Well, I definitely wanted to ask your opinion or your thoughts of the Edward Snowden nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize. It wasn't really a surprise. They tried to nominate him last year, but they missed the deadlines. But he did officially get nominated this time for the Nobel Peace Prize. What are your thoughts on that?
I like that. I thought it was good that he got nominated. I'm sure they'll just give it to Al Gore or something, but
yeah, I mean, these are the same people that gave it to Obama, and I mean, I'm kind of okay. Maybe they're trying to win credibility back.
Maybe. But
it's funny you say that, because one of the scientists was quoted as saying that because of Obama. So if you actually read the story, you'll see near the bottom, one of the scientists talked about trying to get some credibility back after giving the Peace Prize, quote, prematurely to President Obama.
Prematurely, you think?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe. It's possible that it was a little premature. Maybe before the first set of drone bombings, maybe. And why didn't you take that thing back? That's what I don't understand. Like, just take the thing back already. Can't?
Is it something that maybe you can't, like maybe the rules prohibit you from taking it back?
I don't know. What do you think? Do you know anything about that, Brandon?
Yeah, I wish I do. I really don't, and it is a fascinating concept that they would do such a thing. I can't imagine them doing that. We've had terrorists that won this award, so it's not like the standard is very high, folks. I mean, it's such a weird, politicized award now that it hardly represents anything that has to do with peace. Last year was another premature award. We're going to give it to a group that says they're going to remove chemical weapons from Syria. Nothing's actually happened at that point. Nothing has even really been moved forward at all. It's just a group that says they're going to. Meanwhile, you have a Pakistan girl that was shot on a bus by Taliban, who is a females' rights activist, who's making worldwide global headlines, and she doesn't win. So this kind of shows how out of whack the whole situation is.
Maybe if we put out a nice statement saying that in the next year we are going to bring about world peace, and we really, really mean it, maybe we'll win.
Well, maybe Trey Radle's going to lead that thing now that he's going to resign from the GOP, from the House. I mean, maybe he's going to lead the pro-peace thing from the House.
Peace through cocaine?
Yeah, it is funny how Trey Radle has now resigned from the House of Representatives. Well, what's your take on this whole deal with Trey Radle?
Oh man, where do you begin? I mean, it's like he didn't even make it really a year. I mean, they talk about it, his first year or whatever. But when you factor he had to go to rehab, and it's alcohol, and it's cocaine, and what an embarrassment. I mean, it's not just an embarrassment to any political party. It's just an embarrassment that represents us in our government. Other countries just sit back and just laugh. I mean, there's just such a lack of honor and dignity when it comes to politics that it's not even a joke that these people remotely take serious, and it really is just a crying shame.
Well, and Trey Radle was actually a radio host before he got that position.
Well, I haven't been invited on his show yet, so
Well, he doesn't have the show going on anymore.
His radio presence, yeah.
Well, I would have loved to have seen what the Trey Radle on the radio would have said to the Trey Radle in Congress.
He would have destroyed the Trey Radle in Congress because it was radio gold, everything the Trey Radle in Congress said.
Yeah.
I mean, he just, every time he opened his mouth, he stuck his foot in it.
Yeah, it is kind of funny, actually.
Just so you guys know real quick, going back to the question you asked a minute ago, I just did a little research. The Nobel Foundation has never rescinded a single one of their prizes. They do make it public information what they use to determine who wins a prize, but it's 50 years after the prize has been awarded.
Oh, well, so yeah.
50 years?
50 years.
So almost every recipient has passed away by the time we find out why they received an award.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh, God, these guys are awesome. What else is going on out there, Brandon?
A fascinating video came out of Al-Qaeda this week where the leader, this is Zahari, who basically called on the Egyptian Muslims to stop bothering attacking Christians, stop persecuting Christians, and start worrying about trying to overthrow the government. Said, listen, we hate Morsi, we hate Sisi, we hate the group that's in charge. We need to focus our efforts appropriately. I found that a fascinating concept.
So hold on a second here. What does that even mean, though?
Well, just because the Christian persecution since Morsi's been thrown out, the Muslim Brotherhood has used the Christians as sort of a scapegoat, and it's really kind of been a great distraction from actual overthrow of government and those kinds of things. So the Al-Qaeda group actually is calling out the Muslim Brotherhood for basically not staying focused on trying to take back control of their country and make it a Muslim nation, put in Sharia law, all the things that they strive to accomplish.
That's kind of funny that there's an internal struggle between the Muslim Brotherhood and Al Qaeda, like
we always
on the direction of the party.
Yeah, we use two groups. We have two keywords of Islamic extremists and Islamic hardliners. I'm not sure which group's which now. It's like the pendulum just keeps swinging back and forth. Now they don't like each other.
Yeah. Now they're going to start fighting each other. How funny is that going to be when that happens? It's like the Muslim Brotherhood had a terrorist attack on Al Qaeda.
It's as if assuming that large groups of people will always agree with other is wrong.
Oh,
that's exactly right.
That's a good point. That's a very good point out there. What else is going on out there, Brandon?
Well, I figured you might want to drive the train for a minute and try to point out something that might interest you. I think that locally there was a fascinating discovery over at USF where they've been working on the reform school dig, and they discovered 55 corpses, and that was significantly more than what they anticipated. And I don't think that national focus or anything is on this horrible story about the it's called the White House Boys. This is the Dozer site there with this former reform school where they would torture and all those horrible things that happened to these poor young men. And the archaeological group there at USF is heading this up, and just a fascinating story.
Yeah, it is really weird though that they're.
What I don't understand is they found these 55 bodies. Did nobody notice that their kid was missing?
Yeah, that's what. That's 55 kids that were missing. Where that were under they were in government custody.
Right. Like, did nobody say, like, hey, my kid is missing? And then, like, someone else go, you know what? My kid is missing, too. And then, like, a bunch of people say, like, 55 families say, yeah, my kid is missing, too. And then there's an investigation?
I'm sure they're going to come up with a
I think that it was so covered up and there was so much. This dates back a long time, obviously. So I think there was so much stuff that was happening in Mariana and to cover up with stuff that went into this that it didn't get enough publicity and knowledge and word out there. Again, this predates the technology. So, if the local authorities are just burying the news, nothing's getting done, then you don't realize there's 8 other parents that are there complaining, which turns into 20 parents, which turns into 50 parents. Nothing ever got done. And, of course, it could have been strung out over 10 or 15 years. I have no idea the timeline.
Yeah.
All I know is that if my kid turned up missing, everybody would know.
Yeah, no, it would be it's a really weird situation. Let's move into the weird news. Let's go into the weird news first because I just seen something in here that is just amazing. The Jelly Belly, who has all different kinds of flavors of jelly bean,
which is my favorite jelly beans.
Oh yeah, no, they make some good jelly beans now. They make some good jelly beans. Are now coming out with a new flavor. Greg, do you know what the new flavor is?
No.
Take a guess.
Grass.
No.
Oh, no, wait. They already made that for the Harry Potter.
What are you doing, like Harry Potter flavors? They're
exactly.
doing like the Bernie Bott's beans?
Earwax.
Earwax. Love it.
No, they don't have earwax. They're going with beer.
Oh.
They're going with beer.
Kind of beer.
Well, I don't think they're doing anything as specific. Like draft beer, I think is what it is. What it's going to be. So, and then a tobacco. Oh, and in December they released a Tabasco dark chocolate flavor. Oh, there's no need for that, is there?
Well, have you ever had dark chocolate with Tabasco, like that's made with a little Tabasco sauce in it?
No.
It's actually really good. I'm a big fan of dark chocolate, so I love dark chocolate, but dark chocolate with a little Tabasco sauce is actually really good.
Ooh, okay. Well, they're coming out with a beer. I don't even want to talk about that now. They're coming out with a beer flavor for Jelly Belly. Will you buy the beer flavored one, Greg?
I'll try it. It depends on what kind of beer it is.
But will you buy it for your kids?
They describe it as draft beer.
Draft beer? Well, like, is it Budweiser or is it Sam Adams?
They're not giving you a specific flavor,
Artificial
Greg.
flavoring, my friend. What do you expect from the Jelly Belly people here?
My gosh.
They're not going to make a whole line of 100 different beer Jelly Belly jelly beans for
Told
you,
you I'm
Greg.
feeling argumentative this morning.
You are feeling
My
argumentative this
goodness.
morning.
But and here's the thing: is would you really want that to be something that your kids are eating?
As long as there's no
Greg
alcohol.
being so difficult. He's the kind of guy that's like, well, I don't want that popcorn Jelly Belly. It's not Redenbacher, man. I'm not going
If it ain't Redenbacher, I don't want it.
You know, I don't know if I want my kids to necessarily, already have a taste for beer as children, like even as young children. Like, you remember when you had your first beer, it was kind of like, ugh, and then you kind of acquired a taste to it because, it's the only thing around and you can drink. But I don't know if I want to, I want them to experience that, oh, that's disgusting. Why do people drink this?
Yeah. All right, something else in the news here, and I think you should put this under the file of Know Your Roommate, is that a Chicago man, Grant Murin, murders roommate Charles Clark just hours after moving in together. Like 8 hours is the time frame from moving in. Hey, how you doing? My name's nice to meet you. To 8 hours, I'm choking you out. Do you know anything about this story?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Clark posted on Craigslist, need a roommate. And Murren's very young, 21. I think Clark's in his 50s. And I guess there was, quote, some sort of sexual altercation. And needless to say, the man used a small table, bashing the man over the head, and then ultimately strangling him. And they only lived there for 8 hours. Then he basically tried to, use some gas and everything like that to kind of create a fire and everything like that. But before anything actually happened, someone had called the authorities, and during investigation, they found the corpse. But yeah, 8 hours, I guess that's the appropriate break-in time in Chicago is where this happened. So if you can make it past the first 8 hours, you might be okay.
Yeah.
Oscar and Felix would never have made it, basically is what we're saying.
Yes. Now we're going to go to a back out of weird news. Well, kind of out of weird news. Is to Jesse Ventura.
I think we're still in weird news.
It's not. He didn't put it in weird news, so I just wanted to make that clear.
It's miscategorization.
Maybe. So Jesse Ventura has this show called Off the Grid where he goes in and talks and stuff, and in here he says he pardoned Edward Snowden and Bradley Manning, which is good. I'm glad. Glad he would do that. Glad he would do that kind of stuff. But I think the bigger point I want to make here. Why does Jesse Ventura have a show now called Off the Grid?
He is definitely on the grid.
The fascinating part of his take on this is we watched the first couple episodes, and they'd contacted us about the show, and he really kind of goes back to a time frame where after he left office and he had tried to pursue some different shows and things like that, he wasn't going to conform to a lot of the guidelines by that news agency that hired him. But because he was under contract, he was sort of kind of on lockdown. And then he kind of dances around the whole concept of being off the grid. I think the off the grid thing is a little bit of a, just a nice shtick to run his show off of. But fascinating enough, I don't know if you've watched any of it off. I mean, it was a very libertarian-minded take on almost everything. It was actually very refreshing to come out of old Jesse's mouth. And I believe he had Gary Johnson on last night. I think he's supposed to have Ron Paul on again this week. So it's kind of got that bent to it, just so you know.
Yeah, I just... You know what? I'm always of two minds of Jesse Ventura.
Mm-hmm. I love Jesse Ventura.
Part of me really likes Jesse Ventura, but the other part of me doesn't, though. Part of me kind of views him as kind of a blowhard. Do you know what I mean by that? I mean, maybe you don't. Maybe you're not following it. But
did you read any of his books? Did you follow his career as governor of Minnesota?
I did follow him as governor of Minnesota.
I couldn't write an autobiography about the cat, but I think I know enough.
I wouldn't call him a blowhard because he does what he says.
I don't think. Yeah, I think that's not maybe the right word I'm looking for here, but just kind of like a.
I think
you sound like an alpha dog that doesn't like another alpha dog, to be perfectly honest, because he is very loud, he is very boisterous, he is very over the top, kind of like somebody that we know.
Well, you know what? There's there's a point to be made there. I'm not going to say that it's not a good point.
Fair enough.
Here's the way I look at it with Jesse. I think he goes down some roads he just shouldn't go down.
Yeah.
Time to time. Like he messes his own stuff up.
Right. I think sometimes he feeds way too much into the stereotype of what people portray us as, and I think that's why. And AJ, I feel the same way about AJ. You know, Alex Jones. I think that there's a lot of good things that they could do if they could stay away from some of the things that they do, and it would advance the movement and libertarianism in general if they would do that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also pretty clear that Jesse Ventura is not going to, let anybody tell him what to do. No matter who it is, no matter why they're doing it. I don't think anybody's going to tell him what to do. And there may be some a little bit to that alpha dog thing. I mean, that one loudmouth to another. Sometimes you don't like other loudmouths, which that's fair, by the way. I mean, I know that there's some loudmouths that I don't like. That I'm like, I don't like that guy. Well, because he's just like you. Oh, okay, my bad. So I guess.
I tell you what, read his book, Don't Start the Revolution Without Me, and get to the point of his trip to Cuba and how he reacted to the U.S. government following him.
I'll say this. I think one of the things that might be grading you wrong is, let's face it, Jesse Ventura does embody the "do you know who I am" attitude. He definitely does that. And that can be a big turnoff to a lot of people.
Yeah, and it is for me. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
And that to me really derailed a lot of the appeal of his conspiracy theory show, where he was diving into some really, really cool stuff. But unfortunately, he's standing on the property line at Area 51, arguing with them about, don't you know who I am? A former governor can't go on. I mean, it was just like, okay, listen, you've kind of derailed the seriousness of your show at this point, and that is a little bit of something he'll have to deal with.
Yeah, maybe that's the other thing I think I have a problem with is that he does it in a way in which he kind of gives us all a bad name at that point when you do stuff like that. Like, there's serious things going on that we'd like to find out about Area 51. Don't make a joke of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that kind of irks me a little bit. Again, not enough. Like, I like the guy, but
I'm not a fan of his tactics.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. And when you said AJ, I think they're both kind of cut from the same cloth, and that they go too far down the conspiracy theory realm sometimes. And it's not to say that what they're saying is not true or it is true. It's just that there are much bigger problems that are right in front of us, that there's no conspiracy, there's really no argument to say, hey, you guys are just full of it. There's no way you can do that. And we need to deal with those things.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of the issues are really important issues to talk about, but they didn't have to go all the way down the rabbit hole to get people to sign on. Like, they could have scratched the surface and people would have gone, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's happening in our country. And I think when they keep going and keep delving more and more and more, then you lose people that are like, oh, well, you're just crazy. Instead of being able to bring people in and gradually get them all the way down the rabbit hole, they just, bombard people with way too much information, and so they get discredited very easily.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, now let's move on to TV. Let's go to TV. We're going into the TV stuff here. The first one is, hey, have you been watching and keeping up with Revolution?
I'm behind an episode or so, but we can talk about it. I'm pretty up to date on the general concepts.
Okay, well, it's okay. I think you're going to be up with enough of the concept here for the question that I'm about to ask. Isn't it weird that these guys will only go a couple weeks and then they'll break? Like, they're constantly doing this, where you just get into it. You're getting into the episodes, it's on every week, and then it only goes like 3 or 4 weeks, and then
we'll be back in 1 month.
Yeah, we'll be back in a month. Like, what is going on? Like, why do they keep doing this? I thought it used to be that seasons of shows would go on for a good amount of time, and it seems like that's not even the case anymore. Like, they are really teasers.
Yeah, the networks really do a lot of that, and that's not the only show. Big Bang Theory did the same thing. It took off 2 weeks, came back for 2 weeks, we're off another week, now they're back, and again, it's like there's a lot of that juggling, and I wish I could get some sort of explanation, but I just don't. They don't tell you what they're doing, why they're doing it.
I think Revolution is doing it because they want to listen into Alex and get his take so they can rewrite future scripts and make sure that it's going along.
I do have to say, after the
There
last
might be a point to this.
after the last season, we were very vocal in our complaints about the sci-fi turn, and it does seem like, although that is a small portion of the show, they are back to fighting and killing people.
Well, it's weird. It's weird is that, and if you haven't, Brandon hasn't watched it, so I kind of feel bad even saying this on air, but I'm going to have to because you should have watched it. Is that one of the guys that knows about the nanotechnology is now using it as a religion?
Yes.
Like he can heal people. He's learned how to control and manipulate the abilities of the nanotechnology. But now he's using it as come to Jesus.
Yeah, so he's using it. He's started his own religion on it, and that's, like I said, almost a really small part of the show. And you mentioned something when we watched it last week, is that they get to places like they're in Mexico, and then all of a sudden they're in Texas, and it's like a day, but they're walking.
Yeah, there's no tram, there ain't no bus, there ain't no plane, there ain't nothing, there's no, you ain't going Greyhound, guys. It's not there, and yet they get all over this country. It's like, well, we got to go see somebody in Vegas, but we're in Washington. What are we gonna do? Like, okay, let's walk there. How long would it take? Well, it'll take about an hour. Like how do they get all these different places?
Like they should age a year before they get to it's Texas.
Because you know what the difference is? Because sometimes they'll say 3 days later this is going on, or 5 days later this is going on.
A month before.
Yeah.
But they went from Atlanta to Mexico.
Yeah. Like, well, we got to go down south of the border to go find some mercenaries and stuff. It's like that was a month later, right? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying, Brandon?
I will stand by my last statement last week. I believe I said they'd never make it. They'd get bit by a snake and they'd be dead. It would just it's so much of a plot hole in the entire show. It's very frustrating.
There would be some mountain lion, a bear, something that they would have to.
They all have the walking speed of Usain Bolt, the survival skills of Bear Grylls.
And there's never any natural disasters. Like there's no big tornadoes or hurricanes or earthquakes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last thing before we let you go is actually Walking Dead is coming back. What do you expect out of this show?
I think that there will be an episode or two where we kind of get a feel for where some of the characters are, and then they'll gradually start to come back together, and we'll have some new characters to work with. They'll introduce 2 to 3 more new characters, and then we'll move along. I think that the Sanctuary reference, which came up in a previous episode, will play into the rest of season 4. I think that the black guy, played by Lenny James, he may show up again. So it's just going to be a good season.
What about
Walking Dead has not shown any signs of anything waning.
What about the woman that was, and I don't remember her name right now, but she was kicked out because she's the one that killed those other people?
Oh, yeah, Carol will be back.
All right, well, hey, his name is Brandon Jones. The website is The Global Dispatch. We'll see you next week, Brandon.
All right, take care, guys. Talk hard.
Talk hard. All right, we got to take a break. When we get back, more fun. We got the CNN poll. We got Chris versus Chris, and we do call public policy polling again in the next hour.
Every week.
So every week they're getting a call. So you're listening to Liberty Underground. We'll see you next week.
This is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with cameras. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
At Auto Body Unlimited, they work with their hands and heart to provide outstanding high-quality work and customer service. They specialize in European automobile collision repair work and refinish. At Auto Body Unlimited, they bring your car up to manufacturer standards, or they will buy your car back. They have dedicated equipment and use the same processes and paint that you would get from the factory. At Auto Body Unlimited, they don't work for the insurance company, they work for you. Auto Body Unlimited is located at 1300 Sunset Point Road in Clearwater. Call 727-443-4041 or on the web at autobodyunlimited.com. Visit Auto Body Unlimited for all of your repair needs. They work for you. If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street, just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
Welcome back to Liberty Underground. If you want to call the show, the Refresh Telecom line is 1-800-525-4032, 1-800-525-4032. Refresh Telecom. We won't give your information to the feds unless we have a search warrant.
And even then we'll question it.
And even then we might not do it.
Okay, I need a phone number.
All right, give you a phone number. All right, like we said, guys, we are going to be continuing the policy of calling public policy polling. Now, before we make this phone call, guys, what are we going to ask them when they're live on the air?
Why
they didn't include Adrian Wiley in the poll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, and then when they say it's because we didn't tell them, we'll say, well, what about in October when we flooded you with calls and you said to stop contacting you?
Yes. All right, we'll go ahead and do that. So we're getting ready to make the phone call now, which is always kind of fun.
I love calling people live on the air.
It is kind of fun calling people live on the air.
Now, Quinnipiac also put out a poll this week that did not include Adrian. And I think what we're seeing and what I even though they're not including him, the trend that I am really impressed with is that the other, or, like the other category, they only give you the two choices. They don't give you a third. And then, but other is still 16 to 20% no matter who's polling.
Yeah.
Well, and the other part that really kind of irks me a little bit too is, let's go.
Sorry.
That's okay.
This is Dean Debnam. He's the CEO. That's the number I chose.
Nice. Calling the CEO.
Yeah.
I think he might not pick up.
I doubt he's going to pick up.
Dean can't come to the phone right now. Please leave a message.
Oh, how convenient.
Yes, Dean. Once again, this is Friday from 9 to noon. You're live on the air, the Liberty Underground Show. Again, calling to find out why you didn't include Adrian Wiley in your polling.
Actually, your voicemail is live on the air.
Oh, my voicemail is live on the air. Okay, my apologies on that part. That's the only thing.
Because he didn't answer, so.
Yeah, because you, well, I mean, I don't know if you're hiding under your desk or where you're at, but we want to find out why you didn't include Adrian Wiley in your poll, and we want to make sure that you include him in the next poll, because the last time he was polled, he was at, what was the percentage?
9%.
9% was what he was included at the last time, and it is a travesty that you are not doing that. Matter of fact, that you're called public policy polling is kind of pathetic. Not to keep using the P word over and over again, but public policy polling is pathetic for not putting Adrian Wiley on the ballot.
And we're just going to keep calling just so that you can't say that nobody was asking for him. So this way, no matter what happens, you'll know that people are asking for you to poll Adrian.
Correct. And you really shouldn't have a voicemail that has that much space on it anymore anyway, considering that you guys lied to us when it came time to actually putting him on the poll. So if you would like to call the program, the number is 1-800-525-4032 if you make it out from underneath
The
your
nice
desk.
refresh telecom phone line. So,
Yes.
well, we look forward to hearing from you. And if not, we will call you back next week.
Toodles.
I love that.
Toodles.
Toodles.
Awesome. Nothing wrong with Toodles, man. Toodles is a good time.
So that was our weekly call to PPP. Now, Quinnipiac actually also put out a poll this week. They do show that Charlie Crist has a 8-point lead over Rick Scott, but there's a little bit of the shift in the numbers, but that 16% is very steady in Quinnipiac's polling of what they consider other. So anyone who is voting for someone other than Rick Scott or Charlie Crist is staying very steady at 16%, and Rick Scott and Charlie Crist are just kind of trading some percentage points here and there, but Crist does still have an 8-point lead.
Yeah, well, according to their polling, which...
Well, I mean, I think he probably does have a lead over Rick Scott, but there's still this growing amount of people that will not vote for either one.
Well, look, you've gotten calls from polling places. How hard is it to actually tell them if you want another candidate?
I don't know if we told this story on the air last week or a couple weeks ago, but I actually got called by a polling company, and I answer the phone, and it's a very lovely lady on the phone and asking me questions, and she asked me a couple of questions about gambling and how I feel about the legalization of gambling, and then she said, in the governor's race, will you be supporting Rick Scott or Charlie Crist? And I said, neither. She said, are you leaning towards Rick Scott or Charlie Crist? And I said, no. And then she says, no, either one. And I said, no, I'm not leaning towards either one. And she said, if those were the only two choices, would you support Rick Scott or Charlie Crist? And I said, neither. And she said, given that you had to vote, and the only two choices were Rick Scott and Charlie Crist, who would you support? And I said, I would go to jail before voting for either one of them. She says, I don't know how to notate that.
Yeah. You better figure it out, because you're going to get that answer a lot when you call people who are awake.
So they make it I would assume that most people on the third go around of the question may cave and say one of those two. But even all the polls that we're seeing are still staying, even when they're phrasing it like that and almost trying to force you to choose one, 15 to 20% are still saying no.
Yeah. It really is. It's pathetic, though. Here's the thing. It just goes to show you that these places don't actually want, the accurate information.
Right.
They want to be able to utilize these polls to drive an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad that you want to use... Look, I guess there's different polls that do different things.
Right.
So when they ask certain questions about, government approval ratings, you get the lowest ever. Obama's at lows. There is a lot of people that are looking for
another political, another party. They want a third party out there. Those numbers are clear. So they'll do some polls that show all this stuff that is totally to our benefit as libertarians. And then when it comes time to actually make the poll for our candidates, you don't include them. And if you do, you play around with it. Like, you don't even do it the right way. Like you put them at the end, or you only do them in one, and then you'll use, well, he's not polling. You're not including him in the poll. Like, how can he poll? And they're almost doing it like to be dicks. Like, they're really being like dicks with it. Like public policy polling. They say, don't, stop harassing us. Okay, well, we do that. We don't contact you. And then when you don't put them back in, you go, well, you guys didn't contact us, so how would we even know? Like, you're just being a dick now. So that's why, look, we're calling them every week, and look, they may never pick up. That guy may never pick up the phone, but one week he is going to pick up the phone. And when he does, he's going to get embarrassed. Now, he may hang up right away, but he's going to hang up right away in embarrassment. Because these guys are, what we have to start doing, if we're going to do anything when it comes to the media, because I have of the opinion a little bit that we should just ignore them all and just do our own thing and just build our own audience up. But if we're going to be dealing with these jerks, to treat them like the jerks that they are, to treat them with the level of respect or lack thereof that they've treated us with. Because they don't deserve to be respected. Public policy polling does not deserve to be respected. Quinnipiac does not deserve to be respected. Frank Luntz does not deserve to be respected. None of these people deserve any respect because they're literally manipulating data to lie to you to advance an agenda, not to advance the truth, or not to advance what you really think.
Exactly.
It kind of sucks.
I think I found the poll that they called me on. No, it's not the right one. Quinnipiac did a poll on gambling and the governor's race, so I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the poll, but it's not. There was a couple questions that were different. But I'd really like to find the numbers on that poll because I know exactly how they asked me. So I'd really like to see the raw data on how it ended up turning out.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Very good point, by the way. What else is going on out there?
Well, a lot happened in the governor's race, of course, with the AP poll coming out. One of the reporters that was at the AP event that we talked to about with Adrian actually kind of wrote a really good article about Charlie Crist, saying that, Charlie Crist really isn't running against Rick Scott. He's kind of running against himself. And it compares, some of his, past support for things and where he supports now. So they're basically saying that Charlie Crist is running against the 2010 Charlie Crist. I can't see much difference between the 2010 Charlie Crist and Rick Scott, so I guess that would be kind of true. But, he's basically saying how, as the Republican governor, he took dramatic steps to embrace things like, stronger penalties on marijuana. But now he's saying he's in favor of legalization. He took, strong opposition to the Obamacare and the healthcare bill, saying it was too expensive and expanded the role of government too much. Now he's saying it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, and this is where the Democrats are just hypocrites here. They really are. They're total hypocrites in this one because there's no way you should be supporting Charlie Crist. I mean... Yeah. You got to know he's lying. I mean, look, he don't believe what you're saying either. All he's going to do is he's going to vote for that because that, he's going to say he's going to vote for that because now he's running as a Democrat. Now he's sorry for the gay marriage thing. Now he's sorry for all this other stuff. This guy remember, his nickname was Chain Gang Charlie.
Right.
Chain Gang Charlie. This guy should never be allowed in political office again. The ambulance chasers employee should not get elected into office.
Charlie Crist of 2010 said he would not raise taxes at all. Charlie Crist of 2014 says if it's necessary, he'll do it. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Your ideological consistency is amazing.
Charlie Crist in 2010 wanted to prevent voter fraud. He signed the no match, no vote law, requiring that voters would have to produce their driver's license or social security cards, that everything would have to match the database before they could catch a ballot. Now Crist is saying that if we don't speak out against these abuses, we may soon learn the hard way the danger of that double standard, that everyone should have a vote on election day. I think he created the abuses.
Yeah. Well, what were you doing? What were you doing when you were in office about convicted felons that have done their time, Chris? When it comes time to, make sure everybody gets their vote. What have you done about those things? You signed the bill for the driver's license. You signed it.
See, he used to be a Republican, and those laws favored Republicans getting elected. So now that he's not a Republican anymore, he wants that law off the books because it's going to hurt his chance of getting elected.
It's disgusting.
And I love how this, because I'm actually reading an article from the National Review, and I love how they say it. Chris 2014 also pointed out that Chris 2010 vetoed a bill that would have required most women to pay for an ultrasound before seeking an abortion, accusing his past self of violating his even earlier self's pro-life promises.
I don't even see how this man is going to maintain the Democrat Party nomination going into this race. I don't see how it's going to happen.
Best thing can happen to Wiley is to have Charlie Crist there.
Oh, absolutely.
It's phenomenal.
I mean, I love the idea of Wiley going against him. I just don't. Are the Democrats really that stupid?
Like, you almost want to go to them and be like, really? Come on, really?
Bill Nelson is the most loved Democrat in Florida. He would have no problem getting Democrat support if he ran for governor. Why aren't they running him?
Well, the polling shows that, and they've done some polls on this, Nelson against Crist in a primary, Crist wins by about 11 points.
You have got to be kidding me.
Yeah, right? That's crazy, isn't it?
Now, when you put Crist against Scott, he doesn't do, it narrows a little, and it is in some polls getting closer. Nelson against Scott, Nelson wins in a landslide. But Nelson can't beat Crist in the primary.
You have got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Here's the thing. What it goes to show you is this. In order to do those polls, they take into account the number of Democrats that will actually vote in the polls,
right,
in the elections. And the numbers will be in the 20s, just like they are in the Republicans. Some higher in some places, lower in other places. But because most people that are identified as Democrats are not the hardline Obama people, the people that are registered Democrats are a lot of them are pretty moderate. They just, I think they all agree that they just hate Republicans.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
That is the only thing that they all agree on, and and Rick Scott at this AP event actually unveiled his new budget, which I love how he says this. He prefaced it by saying.
He's like a woman buying shoes.
Yeah. He prefaced it by saying, "My goal is let's get money back into Florida families' hands. Let's continue to build our economy." So you would think that's very fiscally conservative kind of statement, very much he's going to keep money in the hands of the people and things like that. But his budget actually is about $2 billion higher than the budget proposal of last year. So his recommendations would be a $74.2 billion budget over the $71 billion budget of last year.
Yeah, but he's saving money, folks. It's amazing.
He's going to put money back in your hands by spending more of your money.
Well, one of the things that is in there
that he took out of your
hands. One of the things that he's in there is he's doing a lot of the business tax forgiveness or whatever. You don't want to call it that, but business tax credits and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of and if you move down here, he's giving a lot of businesses. Most of these are large companies, so let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
He's giving credit to large companies that will not have to pay taxes for a set number of years if they do business in Florida. Now, the small business, the mom and pop that's struggling and, can't afford all the higher taxes, you're going to go out of business, and he's not going to care.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's going to tout how he's saving Florida because he's given his buddies in large corporations tax credits, which is basically money that came from your pocket.
Yeah.
And it came from your pocket, and it's not coming back to your pocket because those tax breaks are not going to translate to higher wages for the employees, but to bigger profits for the executives and shareholders.
Right. And a lot of these businesses who are getting these upfront, and they call it an upfront tax credit, which is the funniest thing, is that they will be charged taxes every year that they're here, but they calculate how much they'd have to pay in taxes like over 10 years and giving them that money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Which is why, let's just go into some other historic things here. Why fewer people identify as Republicans now than any point in the past 25 years. And this was from Gallup. So they do want... Oh, no, who was the other people that we talked about today?
Quinnipiac and okay. PPP.
Yeah. So Gallup does a poll that reveals the number of Americans who identify themselves as independents has soared in recent years. So in 2013, 42% of Americans identified as political independents, up a few percentage points from 2012. Democrats hold a 6-point lead. In party identification, 31 to 25, and that's the lowest the Republicans have seen in 25 years. So, and if you look at the graph, it starts back in 88, and Democrat was 36, Independent was 33, and Republican was 31. Now, if you look at that, during that time frame, Republican never did actually go like really high. It never did go high. During the mid-90s, you had an uptick in independents. So independents went up, Democrats went down, Republicans went down. So both of them went down. Democrats not as much, though. And then, 02, 04, and basically there was one point where all of them were at the same, which is a little weird.
Well, a third. I could understand that.
And then what happened is up to 08, Democrats and independents were going up and Republicans were going down. But then from there, Democrats started going down and Republicans started going down and independents shot up. So in this graph that they're talking about, it never broke 40 before 12. And then in 12 is where it went to 42.
No one party ever broke 40, and then all of a sudden independents shoot up and both of the other two tank.
Yeah, neither one of them. Matter of fact, you could make neither one of them actually got up really above 36. The Democrats got to 36, but other than that, they didn't get much above 36. Right. So right now, the way that it's set up is 42% consider themselves independent, 31% consider themselves Democrat, and 25% of them consider themselves Republican. And like I said, the number, the Republican one is tanking.
And this is actually, that was kind of, they actually did like an average of the year, because by the end of 2013, Republicans were actually at 22%, and Democrats were at 29%, and independents were at 46%. And just so that, Republicans started the year at 2013 at 27 and went down to 22 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Democrats started at 33 the beginning of 2013, went down to 29. Independents started at 37 and increased to 46.
Yeah. Again, this kind of goes back to what we were saying before, though. There is 46% of the people that are considered independents, which means they don't need Republicans and Democrats to win an election. If that was a voting block, if the independent was a voting block, they would not need Democrats and Republicans to win elections. Wouldn't need them. The fact that they're only continuing to give you two parties, which, the only people you could vote for are Democrats or Republicans, just goes to show you that they're totally full of it.
Yeah.
They're totally full of it. Not only that, but this whole thing we're going to take over the GOP, these numbers prove that you guys are failing at that.
Miserably, by the way.
Miserably. You're failing. You're down to 22%, and you still control nothing.
Well, it actually proves two things. They're failing at taking over the GOP, and that taking over the GOP isn't going to win them anything.
Because you'll only own 22% of the vote, and you need 34% to win.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. What ends up happening is people do get beat down at the end. Well, see, it's a multitude of things. Look, the one problem that we do have in these numbers is, in the 22% of the people that are considered themselves Republicans, all those people vote. On the 29% of those people that consider themselves Democrats, all those people vote, and half the 46 vote.
Yeah.
That 46 ends up getting split up where typically a lot of them go Republican, some of them go Democrat, but if it switches back and forth. But if those people that were switching back and forth all the time would say, I'm not voting for either one of those other two guys, then they wouldn't win.
And here's probably some of the reason why nobody wants to be a Republican anymore. Do you know who they did a poll? And this is actually a PPP poll, but they did some polling on who Republicans want to be their nominee in 2016. And guess who's number one?
Chris Christie.
No, he's number 3.
Marco Rubio.
No, he's actually pretty far down.
John Boehner.
No.
Not on the list.
Rob Ford.
Nope. I'm gonna tell you, that is funny. He may win though if he were on there. It's Mike Huckabee.
The huckster.
And you know who's in second? Oh, you guys are gonna love this. Jeb Bush.
I just hit the back of my head. I face palm so hard.
Mike Huckabee.
You have Mike Huckabee is first. Jeb Bush is second. Chris Christie is third. Rand Paul in fourth. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and Paul Ryan all tied in the fifth place marker there. Scott Walker underneath them and Bobby Jindal.
And there's not one of them on there I would want.
Not a single one.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this is, listen, you want to know why only 22% will even say that they're associated with the Republican Party? Because these are the people you guys want.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And again,
look at this list. This is why you fail.
Make no mistake, though. Here's the thing. The Democrats are going down, too. So they're both going down. The Democrats are going down. The Republicans are going down. The Republicans are going down at a faster clip. I'll completely agree with that one. But the trend lines are the same.
Jeb Bush might be the issue.
Yeah, that might be one of the issues. Don't get me wrong. They got Obama on that side, so I don't know why anybody's staying over there. That and they're supporting Charlie Crist. I mean, the hell's wrong with you people? But, you know, again, he was a Republican. He was Chain Gang Charlie. You can't support Nan Rich? Not that it matters. I mean, she's just as bad anyway, but, I mean, they're all just as bad, but...
I almost feel bad for Nan Rich. You know, she's been a Democrat. She's been the minority leader, the Democrat minority leader in the state legislature. And Charlie Crist comes in and is like, oh, I'm not a Republican anymore or an independent anymore. I'll be one of you guys. And they're like, oh, my gosh, it's Charlie Crist. Like, if I was Nan Rich, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be mad.
Like, are you kidding me? I've been working in this party for years, and he's your guy?
Yeah. I was fighting him 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And now he gets to move to the front of the line. You guys should act more like Republicans and get people in line. Don't let them cut.
The whole Charlie Crist saga here is an example of why people don't trust politicians. They don't trust politics. They don't trust government, and they don't want anything to do with it. Yeah. And they don't believe in this system anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's people like Chris Christie, and everybody's heard of the Bridgegate and all this other stuff. Now, Chris Christie is third on that list of presidential hopefuls, right? He used money from Hurricane Sandy, to build a senior complex in a town where a mayor endorsed him. Now, the town in question was not very hit by Sandy at all. Had very little damage, didn't really need any of the funding. And the senior center, the senior complex, had been in the works for many years before Hurricane Sandy hit their shores. And that's what they used the money for. $6 million of it, by the way.
Unbelievable. Really is.
Well, there are still people whose homes are completely destroyed.
Yes.
From Sandy. I mean, none of us, I think, are huge fans of using taxpayer money to rebuild and stuff. But of government functions, that's not the thing that makes us the most mad. So considering that the money was given, it should at least be given to the people who need it for the purpose that it was given for.
Yeah. I would actually make sure that they rebuilt their home in a different location with the money. But, you know, I would definitely make sure it was the people paying into the system that were getting the money back because their homes were destroyed and they were homeless. Not a senior center, a $10 million senior center, by the way. I mean, this isn't like a, couple $100,000 building. This is a $10 million project and basically a payoff for a Democrat mayor who endorsed Christie on his reelection bid. Which is just disgusting.
It really is despicable, by the way. Really is despicable, but that's all right.
Man, fuck those guys.
But let's make sure that we're attacking both sides equally today.
Right.
Why don't you go ahead and give us some information on Ray Nagin?
Ray Nagin, who is a Democrat in New Orleans. Well, I mean, he's still a Democrat, but he's not a politician in New Orleans anymore. Basically has been accused of a widespread corruption, especially during Hurricane Katrina. Because neither side can let a good natural disaster go to waste.
Yeah, without them getting some of the money off the top.
He was running a graft scheme that netted him cash, vacation trips, granite supplies in exchange for contracts to help rebuild the city after the storm.
Wow. Just wow. And that guy could probably run for office again.
And get reelected.
And get elected.
Now, they are taking him to court. I mean, this isn't like, they're just like, oh, well, no. I mean, he's going to court. But, I mean, the stuff that he's accused of is huge kickbacks from, people that won large contracts to rebuild the city of New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these guys just take, and you've said it. Nobody wants to see government have to come in and save anything. But if you've been ravaged by a natural disaster, that's probably the last thing on our list to cut. Don't worry, we don't want that either. But it's not on the top of the list of priorities.
Yeah.
But to see these guys get it, they get this money, and it's supposed to be helping the people who are now homeless because of this. And you're using it to further your own agenda or, to say thank you to people who supported your campaign or get kickbacks and luxury vacations to give someone a contract to rebuild the city. It's disgusting.
And somehow you're crazy for saying you wouldn't want the mayor to have that money to do that with. But who will misallocate the funds?
This is what I always laugh at when they say, well, we can't vote for you because then we'll let that person win. No, the corruption is very equal on both sides.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yes.
And it's just different ways in which they go about it. I mean, that really comes down to different techniques and styles in corruption. But it's all the same nonetheless. I mean, it's still corruption. Yeah. And it looks like Nagin, if he's convicted, he could get sentenced for 20 years.
Yes. Yeah. No, this is definitely...
I'm buying cigarettes for all the people in SL Block.
Oh, boy.
I will make sure you all own a piece of that.
Yeah, I want you to make Ray Nagin your bitch.
But yeah, I mean, he's he could be sentenced to up to 20 years to prison. He could actually get more under federal guidelines. I mean, this is a major scandal, and the thing is that it's being so under talked about that most people don't even know it's going on.
You know why it's being under talked about? Because he's never going to spend a second in a jail cell. Because if they talk about it and they talk about how he faces up to 20 years in prison for this, and then when it's all said and done, he doesn't do a minute of time, people are going to be pissed. So they don't talk about it now. They will talk about it when the results come out. Once the sentence has come and he gets a slap on the wrist, then they'll talk about it. They don't want to talk about it now because then people will get pissed at that point.
I don't want to say I disagree with you here, but I think Nagin's going to jail. From reading the article, it looks to me like they got enough on this guy where they're going to get him.
We'll see.
You're right. We'll see, though. And it's New Orleans. I mean, that place is corrupt from the word go anyway. But
thing is, whenever any politician is caught in any kind of trouble, anyone of power of any sort, whether it's a politician, CEOs, or whatever, people who hold power, I do not trust them to face consequences ever at all.
Well, because so many times they don't.
Exactly.
I mean, look at even Trey Radel. Now he's resigning, which obviously he got some pressure put on him. But look at he he gets caught with cocaine. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm an alcoholic.
Obamacare.
And then it's like, well, he didn't get sentenced to jail. He only got sentenced to treatment and a little probation, and not even that much probation. And he's like, well, the judge understood all the things I was dealing with Obamacare. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, like what a dick.
Like, do you know how many people are out there that are getting busted for these things, that are literally stressed out, selling drugs, trying to put food on the table, and you think the judge gave you a light sentence because you had to deal with a little stress from being a congressman?
Yeah, don't take the job, guy.
Like, are you freaking kidding me? What a disgusting thing to say, and what an insult to anyone else who's struggling with anything in the country. Worried about how to feed their family, and he's like, "Well, it was really hard being up in D.C." Shut up.
Yeah. Look, and then you got Ray Nagin, right? This guy hit this. The city is hit with one of the worst hurricanes ever, and you're in a flood zone to begin with.
A bowl.
You have buses that could have taken people out of there. You don't use those buses.
Mm-hmm.
Then, out of all the money that they sent over to you from FEMA and all this other stuff, 500,000 of it is what you pocketed. Not like what everybody else pocketed. Just you. You took $500,000 you took. How can you sit there and make a claim that you support? And Ray Nagin's black. How can you sit there and say that you support, helping out black people when you're stealing the money that we were using to help them? You were stealing it, you prick. Damn it, you suck.
1,500 people lost their lives in Hurricane Katrina, and you pocketed $500,000.
Yeah. And then you have the nerve to have your attorneys questioning credibility of witnesses? Really? I honestly, and those attorneys should. Here's the thing: those attorneys should have to go to jail too. They go, everybody deserves to be defended. You know what? Ray Nagin don't, man. Ray Nagin don't deserve to be defended. This guy deserves. You know what he deserves? He deserves to be in a hole for the rest of his life, along with a lot of other people. Make no mistake. I think I said
it's
it on
a big hole.
I said it on Wednesday's show. I've said it many times. I'm going to say it again. We need to remove all of the non-violent drug offenders from jail because we need to put all the politicians in jail.
Yeah.
I think we should switch them up. Take all the non-violent drug offenders and give them make them on the city council or the county commission or state house or something. just switch them out, man. Do like a 1-for-1 deal. You know what I mean? Like you find a guy, you bring one in, you take one out.
Chris Christie did this. Ray Nagin did it. All of these people do these, kickbacks. Look, Rick Scott gives, huge tax credits to all his, corporate buddies. His company is investigated for one of the biggest Medicaid frauds ever to exist in the history of existence. And this is who's in office right now. These are the people. And, we can't vote for those libertarians. Because what? Because who are you going to get?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. You really think it's going to get worse than these guys?
Yeah. I look down at Lucas's race with David Jolly, people supporting this guy. Look, Jolly gave $30,000 to Democrats since 2006. The largest person that got the money was Jesse Jackson Jr., who's in jail right now.
Federal prison.
And this guy gave him money. He gave Nelson money. He gave Democrats in Florida. He's given them money. How can anybody with a straight face tell me that I'm splitting the damn thing or we're going to let the Democrat win? I'd rather let Lucas win. How about that? How about we have Lucas win this thing? Because there's not a whole lot of difference between Alex Sink and the guy that's funding people like Alex Sink.
And here's the thing, is they put out a big attack ad on Alex Sink, how she supports the bank bailouts.
Yes.
And bank bailouts were horrible for this country. And then someone said to me, there's miles of difference between Alex Sink and David Jolly. And I said, you're right. It is the distance between Florida and D.C. because while Alex Sink was in Florida saying how she supported it, Jolly was in D.C. working for it. He lobbied for those same bailouts. That's the difference.
Yeah. And I love the excuse they go, well, he was the bailout was going to happen already. He was just making sure that the funds were spent correctly. Like that's one of the other arguments. Like there's a lot of people that get it now. Like there's a lot more people that get it than don't get it. But if you are a person right now that supports David Jolly, and I know of a lot of people that support David Jolly, that they do support David Jolly, you don't get it. Not only do you not get it, you've lied to people when you've talked about limited government or we need good people in office. You've just basically told a lie, and you can give me this political reality, and they have the money, and we're going to go with this, and you can give me all the stuff that you want. But there are people that I have been friendly with for a considerable amount of time, actually, since my campaign, that even though I've had some major disagreements with them on some things, that I have at least been friendly with them. Jolly was actually, for me, and these people don't even know it yet, but Jolly is the straw that broke the camel's back. They support Jolly. And this is the thing. Anybody that actively goes out there and supports David Jolly, not somebody I will no longer deal with anymore. Just won't. I'm not going to deal with you anymore. Won't do it.
They're not fighting the good fight.
They're fighting against the good fight.
Yes.
They're actually on the. They're part of the. They're part of the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're part of the bad guys. It's not. There's no getting around that anymore.
I heard someone say to me, "Well, David Jolly had to do that. He was a lobbyist. That was his job." So he'll just support, and this is what you've said. He will just support anything that's going to get him a paycheck. So let's put him in Congress?
Yeah.
Like, how does that make sense?
So you're telling us that he will sell out ideology, values, morals,
Principles.
for cash. So let's make him a politician. That's exactly the kind of politician we need to get rid of, but that's what you support. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous.
It's pathetic, actually.
It is
and again,
pathetic.
these people, I know these people, and they'll be able to justify it till the cows come home in their own mind. And if they want to do that, they can go right ahead and do that. But here's the thing. You come out and support Jolly Man, just don't talk to me anymore. I'm fine with that. And here's the thing. The rest of the voters don't agree with you either.
Yeah.
They don't.
No. And when we go out there, we do talk to them, and they don't like either option.
No, not at all. There's Republicans voting for Sink because they don't like Jolly. Republicans. How do you know that, Alex? I knocked on the door and I talked to him. I don't know. I don't know if my statements can actually be questioned at this point, considering I'm going around one by one and actually talking to these people. So you can have your opinion. I have my facts based off of what the people have told me.
The voters.
Yeah. So I don't even want to hear it. I really don't even want to hear it. And a lot of these people that are saying, we should vote for Jolly, don't do anything to actually help Jolly out.
Well, they're Facebook commandos.
Yeah.
They have a high clout score. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just pathetic.
Like, I don't know what my clout score is because I don't have time to check it because I'm actually working to get people elected.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Crazy. Dogs and cats living together.
Mass hysteria. I'm going to go to a lighter note. I think we should end on a little lighter note than the constant yelling, screaming. And we've actually talked about this guy. I put him in show pep every time he's in the news because I love him. It is the New Jersey Weed Man.
New Jersey Weed Man. He's a good guy. Tell us about him. There you go.
The New Jersey Weed Man. And this is someone who
I'm sure he's going to be doing well at the Super Bowl tailgate parties.
Dang right.
The New Jersey Weed Man, he actually is battling cancer. He does use cannabis to counteract some of the effects of the cancer and the tumors that he's been fighting. And he has been arrested several times because he makes no bones about his use of cannabis. He doesn't hide it. He says, I'm a patient. I'm using this for medical reasons. And if you don't like it, tough. It's a plant. Like, get over it.
Deal with it.
So he has been arrested several times. And he's always been very vocal about it. But he was sentenced to 270 days in jail. And it was what's considered a staggered sentence. And because he has cancer, what they were doing is letting him he would actually go to jail for 20 days and then come out for 10 days to get treatment. And now there has been a judge now that has filed because of his sentencing and everything. They filed a motion, and the judge has now released him.
Nice.
Good job.
So win one for the good guys.
There are judges out there that don't suck.
Yeah. So a judge, what the judge said is that he's done enough time and he lowered his sentence to time served.
Awesome.
I like it. I like it a lot.
He's like Harry Stone. $50 fine and time served.
So I always like those. Now, and and another big story this week is that medical marijuana will be on the ballot in Florida. The Supreme Court did rule on Monday that the language of the bill was perfectly fine. It was legal, and so they did have enough signatures, so the signatures wasn't an issue anymore. It was just the Supreme Court battle. So the Supreme Court has ruled in Florida, the Florida Supreme Court, that the medical marijuana ballot initiative will be on the ballot in 2014.
That's good. I'm glad that it's going to be on the ballot.
I'm actually not glad that it's going to be on.
Neither am I, because I don't like the terms on which it's getting on the ballot.
Yeah,
I don't like the
wording of the bill. I think it's very, very restrictive, and I think what this does is give politicians a way of not revisiting the issue. Mm-hmm. Because they're like, well, here, this is already passed. And I think that, the people in Tallahassee are going to say, well, you've gotten some, so we don't have to revisit this issue for at least a decade. And I think you're going to see, full legalization pushed off. I think you're going to see there's a lot of illnesses that would benefit from medical cannabis that are not on their list. And are not going to be able to use this as a treatment. And I think even that list is not going to be visited by the Florida legislature because they're going to say, well, this is what you passed.
Yep.
I don't want to say that I don't understand what you guys are saying, because I do. I do view it as Colorado and Washington did the medical, then they did full legalization. It's a step. I believe that it's a step process, but I'm going to go there and fight for full legalization anyway, so, let's just do it that way. But we'll get the people in office that can do that. I mean, let's get those people in office to make that a reality. Until then, you're fighting in the arena you're fighting in.
I think if this was a better medical bill, if this was a better medical cannabis bill, I would have much more support for it. But because it's so restrictive and because there are going to be so many patients across the state of Florida that would benefit from medical cannabis that are not going to be allowed to use it under this law, I think that's where I get my hesitation of even supporting it at all. Is because, you basically have to be dying to get medical cannabis when there's so many people that are dealing with chronic pain and chronic illnesses that could, cancers and things like that could benefit from cannabis that are still not going to get it.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It can be a lot harder to bust those people now that some of it's legal, though. Right? Is that true? It's going to be a lot harder to bust those people.
Are we even going to see the dispensaries opened? That's the other question, the way that this is written.
Because it's so restrictive.
Yeah, are we even going to see it happen? I don't think we will. The way that this is written, it's a losing proposition.
And I think that, and what it also does not provide for is any patient growing their own. So even if you have a prescription for it, you're still having to buy it from the government, and and your prescription plan is not going to cover it.
Oh yeah, no. It all around is sucky. The ambulance chaser, that's what he wants.
Yeah, he wrote it to his favor particularly.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and the other part that was the problem, and let's be completely honest here for a second. Before Morgan got into Puff'em by no means was going to get this thing on the ballot.
Right.
They just weren't, and it's not because they didn't want it on the ballot. It's because you got to pay people to get those petitions. You got to pay them. You got to pay them to get them. It's sucky. I wish there was a whole bunch of people that didn't have to get paid in order to do this. I wish everybody would do just a little and we would get things done, but that just ain't the case. So they had to go out and pay people, and Morgan put in $3 million to get this thing on the ballot. Now, I know he's got a return on his investment, and he wants to get his boy elected, and he wants his employee elected into office, with Charlie Crist. But he got it. He did get it done on the ballot. Here's the thing: how are we going to get legalization happening? What's the plan for that? You know what I'm saying? How are we going to get that part done? A ballot initiative would be possible. We could vote for this on the ballot. Who's going to start the process? Who's going to do all the stuff that's required in order to get this thing done?
Hopefully, our newly elected Attorney General, Bill Walsifer.
Yeah, but we don't need him though.
Well, I know, but and if Bill Walsifer were to get elected, he could just take it off of Schedule 1.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's true. But I'm saying is that in order to get this thing, to get it through, to get it voted on, all that, we can do it. We don't need any of those people up there to do that. We can just literally, write up the bill, full legalization, a ballot initiative, go get enough signatures, get it done, get it put on, get it voted on. Like it's there. The process is there. We really, I think as the LP, as the LPF, we should actually, let's, again, every time we talk about medical on any of the chats or anything like that, people go back with what we should really be for full legalization. Okay. I'm with you on that one. Let's be for full legalization. What are we going to do to make that happen? These guys, whether we like it or not, they took the bull, and for whatever reason, disingenuous or not, which it totally was disingenuous, but they got it done. They got it on the ballot.
Yep.
They did what was required while we're still bitching.
Yep.
I mean, I'm calling myself out like I'm calling anybody else out, so I'm not trying to throw you 200.
Well, I think that as a party, we actually did do something last year by writing the Kathy Jordan Medical Cannabis Act. We worked very hard to try to get that passed through the state legislature, so I don't want to discredit that we're not doing anything. We wrote a bill that was far better for patients in the state of Florida. We sent it to the legislature and worked very hard to try to get it passed, and you had one person that had the authority to block it that did.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'll completely go with that one. By the way, completely go with that one.
Well, I think
it didn't work. It didn't work. What's next?
I think the biggest problem I have with this bill is exactly what Danielle said. It's not going to help enough people. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very difficult for the people who can be helped by the language of this bill to even get that help. Mm-hmm. And John Morgan gets on the air and uses, he's like, the way he speaks and what he says does not align with the way the bill is written, because he's talking about how we need to get this medicine into the hands of the people who need it. But the bill you wrote and what is up there is not going to do that. So he is just like a politician. And it's not really a surprise because all of our politicians are lawyers. So it makes total sense as to why he comes out sounding just like a politician, saying one thing and then putting something on the books that does something completely different. Mm-hmm. All it does is favor him and his pocketbook. It does not favor the people who need this medicine. And I despise him for that. Mm-hmm. It pisses me off, and I have no support for him and what he's doing because he is disingenuous and he's presenting one thing in the media and putting something else in front of the voters.
Yeah, no, definitely, and voters, and we all know this. The average voter doesn't read these constitutional amendments, not really. They don't read through it, and you're only really getting the summary anyways. So you really have to look for the full bill text to really even know what you're voting for. So the average person isn't even going to know what they're actually voting for. All they're voting on is the fact that John Morgan said is on every channel all over the state saying, we want to get medical cannabis in the hands of patients who need it. When his bill restricted that to a very, very small segment and made it very difficult for them to actually get it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I again, I don't disagree with any of this stuff, by the way. I mean, I really don't. But what I'm trying to say is that I think that a ballot initiative to legalize marijuana completely should be something that we should be working towards. And I don't. Again, we've already tried it through the state house and the state senate. And if we want to keep doing that, then that's okay. But that's not going to get it done because we know what the Republicans in Tallahassee are going to do. Look, they won't do the medical one to save their ass.
Yeah.
It is now to their benefit to do this. Not even to our benefit. It's to their benefit to do it. And they still won't do it. You know what? You got to skip them and go to the people.
Well, I think that you're going to see a lot because the Kathy Jordan Medical Cannabis Act is going to be reintroduced this year. And then that it's going to be reintroduced on the floor either next week or the week after. So we are going to see that. I think you're going to see I think if you see a lot of these legislators, especially in the House, where they're up for a re-election, because they're all up for re-election, and the majority of the people in their district support this, and they're going to see, because it is going to be on the ballot, you're going to see a surge of people who support cannabis come out to the polls. It would be in their best interest to get it done before the ballot, because if a bunch of people support cannabis and are coming out to the polls and you had a chance to legalize it and you didn't, you are in a very tough spot for your own re-election bid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, as long as those people come out and vote. I mean,
And
Well,
again,
they are going to come out and vote because of the ballot initiative.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Oh,
They
I
might be
mean-
too high that day.
Smoke after you vote.
Yeah. they shouldn't smoke for like that Monday. Starting that Monday, they shouldn't smoke.
Right.
Before the election.
Go on Tuesday, vote, and then,
Toke up right,
smoke a
you
big
can,
one.
and toke up right outside of it. I don't care. But just don't get high before you vote. Just maintain, bitch. Maintain. Tell that bitch to be cool. Tell that bitch to chill.
Bitch, be cool. Tell that fucking bitch to chill.
Oh, that's awesome, by the way. I got to tell you, the other thing I love watching, well, I don't love watching, it really annoys me all to get out, but watching this Jolly Sync Lucas race, like watching this stuff, like Jolly and Sync going after each other about, who's holding what debate. And
I like watching Jolly Sync.
Yeah. I like watching Sync not be jolly either.
Yeah.
I like both. I can't wait for Monday night. This is going to be very interesting.
It is going to be a lot of fun. I am very, very excited to be at, the first nationally televised debate with a Libertarian congressional candidate. And to be in that audience is actually something that I find very rewarding, kind of one of those, wow, all of our hard work has paid off at least in a little bit. So I'm very, very excited to be going to the debate.
I don't even want to be there.
I know you don't. Well, you do and you don't.
I do, but I do want to be there, but I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Like I want to be there to help support Lucas and that kind of thing. But I don't want to be in a room full of a bunch of people I hate.
And it will be a room of
and
a bunch
that
of
will
people.
be a room full of a bunch of people that hate us by name, and we hate them by name.
Yep.
We all know who each other are, and none of us like each other.
It's going to be.
And I'm going to be forced to have to be nice for a couple hours. And I don't know for sure if I'm going to be able to make it or not. I got to tell you, it's going to be very difficult. But I'm going to try my best.
Yeah, I'd be very worried if you didn't.
I don't know what over under I take on that one, but I might go over under on a half hour.
Just saying, your personal safety may be there may be a violation of the NAP if you don't behave at this.
I really don't like these people.
I know, and Alex will watch debates, but he does like when he gets too angry, he likes to flip the channel or something like that. So sitting in the seat and not being able to kind of take that small break in between is going to be it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, and I got to sit up front too. Like they have that little, the VIP section.
Well,
or
yeah,
whatever.
because we're party
so I gotta
officers.
So I got to sit up front, right? I hate that, man. I hate that. I want to sit in the back. I don't want to sit up front, man. I want to be in the back. I don't want to be up front, man. But it sounds like I'm going to have to sit up front now. So.
Well, and here's the thing is,
and I know people are like, oh, come on now. No, I don't like sitting in
no,
VIP.
he really doesn't, and that's not.
I don't like sitting in any of them. I don't like doing any of that stuff.
He wants to be at home watching it, we couldn't actually. Well, I guess we could see it on C-SPAN.
Yeah.
But you'd much rather be in Pinellas at like a watch party, like watching it in a bar, or with a bunch of people who support Lucas that aren't there.
Yeah, that would be my preference.
But as officers of the party, we have to be there to not only support
Whatever.
Lucas, but represent the party in a nice manner. Because at the end of the day, all the party leadership of the other two parties are going to be there to support their candidate, and we need to do that.
And we're not allowed to DDT any of them, by the way.
No steel chairs, no clotheslines.
See, I wish it was more like, if it was more like wrestling, I would want to go.
And you're wearing a suit.
Yeah.
I would. If we should be able to go in there with entrance music. I should be able to go in there with a steel chair, and
This is why we can't have nice things.
maybe. I was say I would be on my best behavior, so I will abide by that what I said, and make sure I'm on my best behavior and whatever.
I did give you a caveat, though. I said you didn't have to be candidate Alex or salesman Alex. You just had to be cordial.
Whatever.
Just be cordial.
Don't think I'm not
You
gonna-
don't even have to be Alex. In fact, we would probably prefer
if you were not Alex.
And if he's being cordial, then he's not Alex.
Now, every once in a while, when he's on, like when we're at these things, sometimes we're at events where we've been invited. He's on like his best behavior. Back. But this is not one of those times. He has to be cordial.
Whatever.
This was a long discussion last night.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the show, folks. The website is 1787network.com. If you go there, you can subscribe to the newsletter to receive the weekly update for the show. You can get the podcasts that are there. You also can see the sponsors. Please do business with the people who do business with us, so they will continue to do business with us. You can take action. There's a lot of organizations out there that need your help, including many of the ones that we have. Or you can just straight donate to the damn show, because there is about the biggest donate button that we could possibly find on the right side of the thing. So make a donation to the damn show to keep it running. Or send us an email. Go to alex.snicker@gmail.com and send your hate mail there.
Okay.
Is that good?
Well, yeah. I mean,
You got anything you want to say, Danielle? No, you don't?
Okay, it's not.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, what were you going to say?
No. Just, if you're in Pinellas or even if you're around the state, start phone banking for Lucas because it's going to take everybody to get him elected.
Yeah. LucasOverby.com, folks. LucasOverby.com. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. See you.
Bye.
Music at some point.
We're waiting and waiting.
Still waiting on the Greg.
There we go.
All right. See you next week, guys. Liberty Underground.